Welcome back to Sledgehammer Horror, guys. I am Ken Sledge.
I'm Ashley Sledge.
Let's talk horror. Today, I am joined by two guys that are not only good friends of mine, but these guys are great influences of mine as well. So over here to my left, you're right, somebody's everywhere. I got my good friend over here. I got Ken from MidLevelMedia. And then down here below us, we have Justin of Movie Watch Daily. Now, before we get started on the stream, I want these guys to tell you a little bit about what they do. I do have their links down in the description, so you can make sure you subscribe to them. But before we get started with that, Ken, let's start with you. What can you tell us a little bit about MidLevelMedia reviews what you do on your channel?
Yeah, so I'm just Ken. I wish I had a cool last name like Sledge, but I'm just Ken at MidLevelMedia, and basically what I do over here is just talk about physical media constantly, all the time. That's all we do over here. I go over new 4K Blu-ray releases every single Monday with my physical media report. I do Blu-ray out and about hunting videos. I do tons of physical media reviews, collection hauls. I do live streams with other collectors and all that good stuff. So it's all physical media. It's all meant to just get everybody hyped and ready to buy some of those awesome little plastic discs every single Tuesday when they release. So that's what I'm all about over here at MidLevelMedia.
That's awesome,
Cool.
man.
Cool.
And you guys can check out his collections too. They are incredible. I strongly recommend you checking that out. What about you, Justin? What do you do over at your channel, over at Movie Watch Daily?
What's going on? First of all, thanks for having me. Appreciate you. Oh, I got my dog going. Dog trying to get on my lap here. Stay down, Pete. Over at Movie Watch Daily, man, we just talk movies, primarily horror. Every once in a while, I'll venture out to some other genres, but I talk about collecting, toys, collectibles, physical media. I do standard movie reviews, all that kind of good stuff. Yeah.
And it's so much fun. I've been very lucky to have these two as a guest on my first horror movie. So if you want to learn where horror started for them, you can check that out on my channel as well. Actually, Ken's just dropped today, so we had a lot of fun doing that. It was a blast, and me and Justin have been working together for a while now, so this is so incredible. I get to work with you again. To everybody in the chat so far, Maya says, hello, hello, hello. Hey, all, even you, Justin, with an eye roll. She says, just kidding. Love you guys. We love you too.
What is up?
Hello.
My buddy Chris Marshall, one of my OGs. This dude's been with me for 15 years now. Marsh, what's going on, buddy? Glad you're here. So everybody in the chat, what we're going to be doing today is we are going to be oh my gosh, Christian Hannah Horror says, God almighty, two good looking studs on Sledgehammer Horror. Yeah, that's why
Yo,
good looking people on the channel. Nathan is here. What's up, Nathan? I'm so glad that you're here joining us. So what we're going to be doing, guys, we're going to be ranking our top 10 favorite scares from non-horror movies. Now, my list is extremely genuine. In my list, I have scenes that scared the shit out of me as a kid, even though they weren't in horror movies. And there's a lot of them on here. So I really hope that you guys have a great time with this. Let us know in the comments. Something that I do, I never charge to answer your questions or to show your comments. If you want to leave a super chat, we appreciate it. It means a lot. Every penny that comes into Sledgehammer Horror goes back into Sledgehammer Horror, but it is never required. We want to answer your questions. We want you to be an active part of this chat. So if you have questions, comments, or you want to leave your list along with us, please do it. We'd love to read them. It makes this so much fun. Before we get into it now, Nathan says, what's up, guys? Nathan,
Hello.
What's up? I'm so glad. Nathan went to his first Dallas Cowboys game yesterday, and he's a little jet lagged, but he's here with us. I'm sorry you had to be at a game where your team got their asses kicked, buddy, but we love you here at this home team. Daniel says, let's do this. Thanks for joining us. Daniel's another OG. He's here all the time. Linton, how's it going, buddy?
Hello.
Glad you could make it. And then Strange Monkey Reviews. Hello there. Can't wait to work with you soon, too. So the way we're going to do this, when we start, we have honorable mentions. Ashley doesn't, but we'll do our honorable mentions, and then we'll do our 10 through 1. Now, as always, I want to remind everybody, nobody knows each other's list. I don't know Ashley's list. She doesn't know my list. And I don't know these guys' list because I think it's more fun that way. So starting off with me, I have 2 honorable mentions here. The first one is The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Rings, the jump scare when he goes and grabs the ring. That got me. We were in the movie theater, and I was like, oh, shit.
that's one that is just comes out of nowhere, and it's so brief and so well done. It's a perfect jump scare.
Yes.
So you're talking about the Bilbo Baggins one? where he like
Yes,
gets his
when he
face all
touches-
scrunched
I
up.
would just like
Okay.
to touch that ring again. Yes, the Bilbo one.
Yeah, he just sees it through his shirt.
Yes. And actually, I'm a big, like, look, Sledgehammer horror, obviously horror is our bread and butter, but I'm a huge sci-fi guy too. So, you know, sci-fi is something that I dig. I've always fantasy adventure. You're going to see a lot of fantasy adventure stuff on this list. My other honorable mention. Now, the reason this is an honorable mention because I wanted to clarify something. Ghostbusters is a horror movie to me. Absolutely.
I agree.
Ghostbusters 2, not so much. So on
Yeah.
my honorable mentions,
Okay.
I have Janosch when he's riding the bike and the kid's out on the building and he reaches out and grabs the kid and pulls him back up and they fly off on the bike. That
Yeah.
got me as a kid, man.
That's a
is
good
one
moment.
scene from Ghostbusters 2 that rocked me to my core. So I do.
I just want to say, and I know we're not to me yet, but I also do have some Ghostbusters 2 in my honorable mentions as well.
Awesome.
Nice.
Not the same scene.
So 1 to 10 ET. Oh, all of them. You know it. Janosch cracked me up. See, that part scared. Like, I love Janosch in the movie. Like when he's talking to the painting, he's like, "I Vigo scored." And he's like, "I know, you've told me this."
It's
That
the
movie
part
gets a
where-
lot of unnecessary hate. The sequel to Ghostbusters is great.
No, it's just as good as the first one, I think.
I agree.
I
But the
gotta
scene where
cut that
he's
beat.
floating towards the terrace to pick Oscar up, like that's where his eyes are glowing. Like that's the part that really frightened me as a kid.
See, no,
Great
I
casting.
can't agree with you to say that Ghostbusters 2 is as good. I really think that Ghostbusters
Not-
1 is
well,
classic.
To me, the
I
first
love
one's like a
Ghostbusters
10,
2.
the second one's like a 9.5. I love them both though.
Yeah. And see, the thing about Ghostbusters 2, another part is even when he's like, when they go to the place and Bill Murray's talking about the paintings and he's like, "Yes, I think go. The joyfulness is over." Like everything Janosch says and does in that movie absolutely cracks.
I mean,
me
I
up.
think Vigo the Carpathian's a super underrated villain too.
Oh gosh,
Like
man.
he's scary as hell.
Yeah, agreed.
I love Ghostbusters 2 and it freaked me out as a kid. Completely agree. Strange Monkey says Janosch cracked me up. Everything he did cracked me up except for that one scene. Art's here. What's up, Art? Art with horror.
What's up, Art?
So my wife of beautifulness over here does not have any honorable
I
mentions.
do not.
Ken,
She had a
you
very
have any
concise
honorable mentions?
list.
You can go ahead.
Did you call me? I'm sorry, I didn't hear
Yep.
you.
you're good.
So like I said, I also have Ghostbusters 2, but I put my two honorable mentions are ones that I felt like I was going to get called out for them being horror if I included them in my top 10.
I
So
have one of those
put
too,
them-
man.
I put them in honorable mentions. To me, Ghostbusters is not. I don't think of horror when I think of Ghostbusters. I think of adventure. I think of comedy. So Ghostbusters 2, I have the bathtub scene where the blood comes out,
Yeah.
the ooze or whatever, and attacks Sigourney Weaver, Dana, and tries to get Oscar. Like that scene always freaked me out as a kid, just watching it kind of raise up and her turn around. So that's one for me. And then also I got Beetlejuice on here. When they're in the when they go up to the Lost Souls room, and when they open that up and you see all the floating souls, that always scared the hell out of me as a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's a good one.
again,
I didn't even think about Beetlejuice in there. That's a good one.
and I know
Yeah.
people think of Beetlejuice as horror, but I just don't think of horror when I think of Beetlejuice.
It
It's an
straddles that
adventure,
line.
It's comedy. It's
Right.
It's different, but it's
Yeah.
in the same realm, I guess.
Nice fucking model. Honk honk.
Yeah. Exactly.
John says, hey, Ken. What's up, John? Art says, I
What's
never
up?
considered Ghostbusters being horror also. See, for me, Ghostbusters rocked me as a kid, man. Like the librarian scene and like when Dana's sitting on the chair and those hands start coming up and grabbing her face and pulling her in.
Well, the thing is about Ghostbusters is it had the laughs, but when it did the scares, it played the scares like very straight.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't. There was no winking at the audience when it came to like the scary moments. So you know, it definitely has those horror elements, but there's so much comedy, so much levity in the movie that it kind of definitely straddles that line.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I didn't add Ghostbusters because I knew you would be like, "That's a horror movie."
I know. She
Yeah,
made her
that's-
own thought about that one. Catherine says yes to the Beetlejuice scene. Thank you for joining us, Catherine. We appreciate you. Art did recently dress up as Beetlejuice, and if you check his Instagram, you can check that out. Hey, Celise, how you doing? Great to have Sweet and Spooky here.
Joining the spooky little family right over here.
Yes. And then Linton says yes, Beetlejuice all day classic. We love.
Yeah, that
Beetlejuice.
movie is in my top 5 movies of all time.
Michael
Absolutely love it.
Keaton, my guy.
We have like a
Yep.
list of movies that we have to watch for like in October, and Beetlejuice is definitely one of them.
100%.
And Hocus Pocus.
Okay. See, now this is a movie that, okay, Hayden, I'm going to be honest with you right now. I left this off my list. Ashley can testify to this. Hayden says, the scene in the Truman Show where Truman recognizes his father, but his father is ushered away, always gave me the creeps. The Truman Show almost ruined my life. And I'm not being over dramatic or funny or whatever, but my anxiety and my depression really messed with me when it came to the Truman Show, and I thought that was my life, and everybody around me was an actor, and I ended up, getting on medication because of the Truman Show. That's how bad that movie messed with my anxiety and my depression. It pushed me over the edge. So the Truman Show is probably the scariest movie in the world to me because
it's a terrifying premise.
It is. It really is. Where is the Beetlejuice sequel? Right with the Back to the Future sequel. We don't need it. Love you straight.
No, never do it, please.
Oh. It says Justin casually slipping from Beetlejuice mug. I didn't even know.
Oh yeah, I am. Yeah. I got my handbook for the recently deceased there.
Good catch, Danny.
Spirit Halloween.
I'm not sure if anyone has mentioned this, but the Easter Bunny from Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. Oh my gosh, that's such a good scene.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody has it on their list because we just did our.
That's a creepy sequence when they go through all those weird hallways and labyrinths and stuff. Yeah,
and the grandma
it's a good scene.
Kiss him. Oh, I'm pissed at myself right now. So do you want to? Did you have another honorable mention, Ken?
Nope, just those two. I got another one I could say that I didn't add to my list, but I feel like one of you might have it, so I'm gonna leave it off. Now, if nobody brings it up, I'll slip it in.
Okay.
There we go. What you got, Justin?
I have three, and one was kind of like Ken mentioned. Well, this Ken over here. I got two Battle of the Kens over here. I actually had the Bilbo scene, from Lord of the Rings as well. That's just a perfect moment, and it's just a split second. Peter Jackson knows scary, and I love how he brought his horror elements from his previous movies into the Lord of the Rings. Great moment there with Bilbo. And this was one that I wasn't sure if this considered a horror. I actually went on IMDb to check the category, and it didn't say horror. But Fire in the Sky. I'm sure you guys know what scene I'm talking about. Yep. The alien abduction scene. I still think it's the best alien abduction scene that I've ever seen in a movie, and it's absolutely terrifying. I don't know if that might be on one of your guys' list. I don't know, but
I still have not seen that movie. I do want to though.
Oh,
I've heard
so
great
good.
things about it. But alien abduction stuff legitimately freaks me out though.
It's mainly a drama for the most part, and then it kind of just has a couple creepy moments.
That fourth sequence in VHS 2 still gets me.
The
alien abduction. That stuff always freaks me out. So
yeah, it's scary. And then because I had another, I don't want to spoil too much of my list, but I did have an Indiana Jones moment in my actual list. But a runner-up is the Raiders of the Lost Ark melting scene.
Yeah,
good runner-up there. And those are my runner-ups.
Okay, that's hilarious, and I'll tell you why here in a little bit. But first, I want to catch up on the chat. Justin sipping his tea in that mug is a vibe. I completely agree.
It's a whole vibe.
What you guys reckon on Hocus Pocus 2 coming to Disney Plus next year? We just visited the set of Hocus Pocus 2 this October, and I could not be more excited if you paid me to be.
And I'm more excited than that.
Yes.
So.
Ashley is the biggest Hocus Pocus fan. We literally took a trip, drove 12 hours out to Rhode Island so we could check out the set and hang out in Salem for a weekend. And it was, watching my wife look at the set and just watching her, is the best thing in the world.
It was like when we went to California and you got to see the house.
Yeah, when I got to see the house from house. Yeah. That's what it was like. And it was just so amazing for her. And we are very excited for Hocus Pocus 2. I don't see how this could miss, but it is what it is. My Killer Podcast. Oh, hold on. Before that, I want your guys' opinions. Ken, what's your excitement level for Hocus Pocus 2?
I don't know. It's a new movie, so I'm sure it's not going to be good. It's a new movie of a classic, and I don't know. I get the Dumb and Dumber 2 vibes. Just all those sequels that came way too late that can't possibly recapture the
I never even watched
the original. But I don't know. Hopefully it's good. I want every movie to be good. It's just I'm more often than not horribly disappointed. So I'll temper my expectations, I guess.
We won't. What about you, Justin? How you feeling?
I'm kind of on the same page with that. I'm one that doesn't. I try to root for movies to be good because, like Ken said, you don't want to see a bad movie. You want every movie to be good, but you just don't know. I think the fact that it has the original cast or much of the original cast coming back at least makes it, I'll watch it. If it was like one of those things where they bring in like new actors and try to like put a modern spin on it, I don't think I would be as excited. But they're bringing back the original witches, so I mean, how can it? At worst, it'll just be okay.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Two things I want to add to that really quick before we go into our number 10s. One, I know for a fact in this movie we're going to get a really good backstory on the three witches.
Yeah.
That'll be cool.
Can't talk too much about it, but we are going to get a really good backstory on the witches. And the other thing, I was going to make this a surprise because it's such a small moment, but there's a moment in Hocus Pocus where all the witches are coming out and this angel comes up in front of them and goes, "Bless you." And the witches all get scared and cry and shit. That angel is Jordan, and she's going to be a guest on my first horror movie this Friday. And I'm super excited to have her because that's just a little thing that was so cool. She's a really good friend of Ashley's, and Ashley hooked me up with her after months of begging, so I finally am going to have her on, so I'm super stoked.
Dude, that's rad.
Yeah. Now, My Killer Podcast says Imprint has a great release of Fire in the Sky.
I saw that, yeah.
The cult segment from VHS 2 is wild. I love VHS 2.
VHS 94 was amazing, by the way, if you guys haven't
I haven't got a chance to watch it.
Oh, it's so good. I loved it.
Had a day off that we haven't been able to do.
Was it better than Viral?
It's better than Viral.
Okay.
There's a couple of really, really good sequences in the new one. You guys are going to love it.
I love the first two.
Christopher Lloyd at the end of Who Framed Roger Rabbit was scary as well. That will be talked about tonight.
I can guarantee that one.
I can guarantee it too.
Yes, Ashley, Hocus Pocus is a perfect movie, period.
I agree 100%.
Maya was thoroughly enjoying her supper. You don't want to see a bad movie. I don't know, man. You'd be surprised by my taste. Okay, so now, guys, we are going to actually get into our list. If you would like to, like I said, I never make you pay for chatting along with us. If you want to have your list going with us, we'd love to read it. So, my love, would you like to start us off with your number 10?
All right, number 10 for me is Wizard of Oz. Just the Wicked Witch of the West freaked me out as a kid. Like, I'm gonna get you, my pretties, and her flying monkeys. They were scary as hell too. Like that lady, I don't know.
She owned that role.
She really did.
Nobody else could have played that role.
No, and just like, I don't know, she's a scary witch for sure.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Every scene she's in, it's terrifying.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think the Wizard of Oz definitely has scary moments.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Ken? What comes in at number 10 for you?
Number 10 for me is I don't know if anybody saw the Annihilation from 2018 with I think is it Alex Garland? Yeah, it's Alex Garland, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I have right here. I have physical media representation of all the movies in my top 10 right here next to me. But yeah,
I should have done that. Good call.
The bear scene with the bears sneaking into the room with them all as they're tied up. And it's zombie bear, so that's scary enough. But it also, like, when it opens its mouth, it's
the
like
sound design,
and it screams like a person. So you have these like shrill screams, and it's just a very unsettling moment. The whole movie is unsettling, and to be honest, like, it might be cheating a little bit because it is a little bit horror based, but I would say it's more of a sci-fi movie. But yeah, that would be my number 10. What
a great pick, man! Such an underrated movie.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Not enough people have seen that movie.
I love Ex Machina. It's like my probably number 2 movie of the past 10 years. But this was another great movie.
Great moment. There's a couple really terrifying moments in Annihilation. Good call on that one.
Yeah. Well, hold on. We're going to go to the chat real quick before we move on. I'm watching After Chernobyl right now. I've never seen that. It's not very good though. Well, I'm glad I haven't seen it. Return to Oz would have been categorized as a horror movie.
I've never seen
that will be talked about.
Oh, definitely the wheel.
My daughter used to love that movie when she was 3, and I was like, it scared the crap out of me. Just started watching it.
Oh yeah, my buddy Matt's all about the found footage there.
Yep.
Let us know how that is, buddy.
Yeah, please. That bear scene was chilling. Oh man, the Wizard of Oz and the Oompa Loompas from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory were something that actually freaked me out later in life, and no idea why it didn't as a kid. My number 10 is Prisoners by Dennis Ville. The entire movie is creepy and the end scene is scary. Prisoners is a fantastic
It really
movie.
is. It is a good
I
movie.
love that movie. I love Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yep.
Hugh Jackman's performance in that movie is breathtaking.
It's his best.
Yeah,
I think it's
he's
better than
one of
anything he's ever
the
done.
Is that where the one where he's bashing the sink to scare the
Yeah.
shit out of Paul Dano? Yeah, that's a
I have
great
man
movie.
crush on who?
On Jake Gyllenhaal.
I so
yeah.
have a man crush.
Who
on
doesn't?
Jake Gyllenhaal and
Who
Devin
doesn't?
Sawa are my two man
You
crushes.
can't
Well,
pick one.
spoiler alert, but Jake Gyllenhaal shows up on my list tonight more than once.
Nice.
More than
Alright.
once.
Justin, you want to give us your number 10?
Yeah, my 10. I'm starting off kind of. I probably could have bumped this a little higher because a lot of these movies are. I don't want to spoil anything. I'm just going to give my number 10. Large Marge, Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
At 10?
That's what. As I'm looking at that, it could have been bumped up. That's what I was going to say, but I had to save some. I tried to think of the first time I watched it. And it depends. I think it depends on how kind of young you are when you see these things. So I think I was old enough to realize that Large Marge was terrifying, but it didn't really scare me. All right, it didn't give me nightmares. But that stop motion on there is just so badass.
I think Sledge just gave away his number one there.
I had
I
a
know.
feeling there's a couple like that one and a couple of these I think are gonna pop up on a couple lists.
For
So,
sure.
But
For sure.
I couldn't. I feel like that was so much of a given that's a little lower on the list. So.
Yeah.
A lot of these are from when I was a kid, so you guys
Yeah.
are probably
Yeah.
gonna think I'm like a pansy. Like
Me
that.
too. I got a couple
And that's
Disney's
what I
on
wanted.
here.
I wanted these to be genuine. Like
Because
I
I,
was
have like
scared.
some Disney movies on here.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna lie.
I want.
I do
something
too. I do
that
too.
genuinely scared us. That's absolutely
Right.
what I want. And Thomas says one of the scariest scenes in a non-horror movie is when Willy Wonka is on the boat. That may be talked about.
Yes, it is.
Number 10 for me, the Wheelers from Return to Oz. Those things are so fucking scary.
They're on their back or something.
Yeah, and then they're
like,
driving,
and
their faces are moving around.
I've seen
Yep.
them. I've never seen.
And when they
like,
talk
the
about
movie.
taking her away, like,
Yeah.
yeah. And she grew up to be the girl that was in The Waterboy.
Yes.
The little girl.
Oh,
And
yeah,
the craft. It's Firuza
Yeah.
Balk.
That
Yeah.
is no prediction. That's what it's going to be. I love The Waterboy.
That whole movie is just pure nightmare fuel, man. That whole movie is
Return to
just
Oz.
a fever dream.
Well, I mean, it was just talked about in the chat, but of all the movies on my list, I think that could be absolutely the one that's most considered closest to a horror movie on my list.
It's like a
If someone came to me and
post-apocalyptic kids movie. You know?
Someone came to me and was like, hey, I consider Return to Oz a horror movie. I'd totally be like, I get it.
Yeah.
I totally
Yeah.
get it.
It's horrifying.
So before we go into our number 9s, Daniel says, my number 9, Dan Aykroyd is the judge in Nothing But Trouble. I've never seen that.
Oh, dude,
I
you
haven't
gotta
seen it
see that.
either. I thought about
Nothing
getting
But
that
Trouble?
Shout Factor release.
Yeah, I need to pick that up.
That's a comedy.
Is it a comedy or?
It's a extremely dark comedy written and directed by didn't Dan Aykroyd write and direct that one? I think he did.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did. It's got Chevy Chase in it. It's
That
got-
movie's a whole
Dan
thing,
Aykroyd
man.
and Chevy Chase too? Yeah, I already
Yeah.
got it written down.
John
I'm
Candy.
watching that, Daniel. Thank you.
Chevy Chase, Dan Aykroyd, it's great.
Danny says, yes, the Wheelers were so extra. It made me never trust rollerbladers in the 90s. So before we get into our number 9, something I should have said off the top. For those of you that have not yet subscribed to Justin and Ken, I have their links down here in the description. So make sure that you are subscribing to these guys. They work their asses off. And like I said, they're influences of mine with their work ethic as well. So make sure that you're subscribing to these guys. If you hear from one of their channels and you're new to Sledgehammer Horror, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It really does help us more than you think. I'm sorry to sound thirsty. Let's get into our number 9.
You got to do it, man.
Number 9?
You got to feed the algorithm gods, baby.
Yes.
You got to do it.
All right, so you did. Yeah, Ken, you want to start us number 9?
Yeah. Mine is hold on. Okay. I know what I'm doing now. So mine is a superhero movie. And it's not necessarily a scene that really scared me, but it is a really good like horror type scene in a superhero movie. And it's from Spider-Man Far From Home. And this is my first Jake Gyllenhaal appearance, but it's when he's putting Spider-Man through all of the illusions and stuff. And you see the zombie Tony Stark Iron Man come out, and it's like helmet comes open and it's like a zombie skull underneath. I think it's an incredible like horror moment in a superhero movie. So I included it on the list. Again, it doesn't scare me, but I think it's just a really well crafted sequence in the movie. So that is my number 9.
That's what we're all about. Like I said off the top, and for those of you that are following along, please continue to comment. We're going to read your comments, I promise. I want this to be completely genuine, something that you watch and go, oh, damn. Like, I love it when it's genuine like that. Real quick, Jay says, yo, just made it. Jay,
hello.
So happy you're here. Daniel says that it's a comedy, but he's creepy. Nothing But Trouble is a horror dressed up like a comedy.
Yeah.
Britton says Afraid of the Dark. Are you afraid of the dark? Yeah. If I could pick out a particular episode, it would have totally got me too. And Danny says Nothing But Trouble is basically a Texas Chainsaw comedy. God, how have I never seen this movie?
Isn't that Texas Chainsaw Massacre too?
Yeah, right. All right, Justin, you want to give us your number 9, buddy?
Yeah, speaking of Disney, I have a couple Disneys on here as well. I got no shame in my game when it comes to Disney because they scared the shit out of me. Half those movies we shouldn't have been watching as 5-year-olds anyway. I got Pinocchio on here. Pleasure Island sequence when they all turn into the donkeys and start turning green. What a bizarre sequence! Something that I shouldn't have been watching as a kid, but so terrifying when his buddy starts when they go to the silhouette shadow where you can see him slowly turn into the donkey and the sounds as he's like making those terrible screeching sounds. It's so scary, man.
Yeah, I agree.
100%.
Yes.
100%.
Yeah.
Antonis says another scary scene in a non-horror movie is in Raiders of the Lost Ark at the end.
Yeah.
Number 9 for me is Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
The Ark.
I knew that one was going to show up a bunch. I knew it would.
So I completely agree with you, Antonis. When you see it was an honorable mention already by Justin, but when you see the faces melting and everything happening, like that scared me as a kid. And actually,
practical effects.
Exactly, and the practical effects were great. I'm a huge Indiana Jones fan.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of the Indiana Jones trilogy. I have always been a huge fan of the Indiana Jones trilogy. I will always be a big fan of the Indiana Jones trilogy, and we are going to leave it at the trilogy. So
I was going to say, I like that you're calling it a trilogy. that's where it ends.
There's a lot of good horror in Temple of Doom as well.
Yeah.
I have a feeling
Temple of Doom is my favorite of those. So I know it's an unpopular choice, but I love Temple of Doom.
I've only recently heard that was like like some people don't like Temple of Doom, which I think is just crazy.
Yeah, well, I just watched
any of the indie movies.
I watched all the indie movies when I was a kid. I haven't watched them in 20 years until they did the 4Ks this year. So I watched them for the first time in 20 years this year.
Good.
So it felt like watching them for the first time.
They're perfect films, man.
That's awesome.
I haven't seen them in a very long time.
Charles says Willy Wonka scared me too. We can have an Indiana Jones marathon any day you want, my love. Side Hustle Cinema, thank you for the donation. We appreciate you so much. New to Sledgehammer Horror. I'm loving the content. I've been following Ken and Justin since the early days of their channels. You are very lucky that you've got to watch them from the beginning, and I'm telling you, the best is yet to come. These men are gentlemen and scholars and fucking geniuses.
And he's got a great Side Hustle Cinema's got a great channel too. His collection and his movie room is awesome.
I might have to get a hold of you later on.
He's got a killer channel going.
Got a killer Friday the 13th collection.
Yeah, he does.
Side Hustle Cinema. You're going to be hearing from me, Side Hustle. Sorry, I'm trying to do my side hustle now. All right, Maya's back. Welcome back, Maya.
Hello.
4K Dre, new here as well. Welcome to the family. Thank you for coming and joining us. We appreciate you. My Killer Podcast says, hey, yeah, this seems like a cool channel. I'm also new. It's all right.
It's all right.
Number 8, Ernest Scared Stupid, the giant hairy troll. Wow, I haven't seen that in a long time.
Oh, I used to love that movie.
This is actually a really cool topic. First time checking the live stream here. Thank you, Tim. We appreciate you so much.
Tim and 4KD Ray also have great channels as well.
Thank you. I'm very excited you're here. We appreciate you so much. I'm going to say Large Marge.
That was my number 10.
Speaking of things kids shouldn't be watching, let's say Ren and Stimpy molded my taste in a pretty dark and twisted way. Ren and Stimpy were way ahead of their time. Way ahead of their time. Show was genius. The troll from Ernest Scared Stupid was scary, especially when he was in the little girl's bed. Yes.
Yeah.
Now it's funny because where I don't consider Ghostbusters horror, I did consider Ernest Scared Stupid horror because I could have included something from that. So I don't know. My mind's weird.
No, that's what I love about it. So we just did my number 9. Have you done your?
I have not.
Ashley's up to your number 9.
Okay, so someone already had mentioned this, but Willy Wonka, the boat scene where
That's at number 9.
that is at number 9. Will you stop?
You guys are
Rowing,
blowing me
rowing,
away.
rowing.
I love you all so much, but you have them so low. You're killing me.
Yeah, so that is my number 9, and I just think it's terrifying. Like even Willy Wonka.
Tunnel scene, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Huh?
The tunnel scene?
Yeah, the tunnel.
Oh,
scene
yeah.
Where like all like there's pictures of like bugs and like.
Yeah,
you
the
know.
bug scenes on the walls is what always got me as a kid. I'm like, this is just so weird. What is
Yeah,
this?
and then Willy Wonka himself is super creepy with the song that he's singing, and that just freaks me out as a kid for sure.
Yeah.
It would probably freak me out now.
Yeah.
Honestly.
And we keep spinning.
And, yeah, like he was super creepy. Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Did Marilyn Manson do a cover of that, like on one of his albums back in the day?
Good, man.
Yeah.
Jay says to all the new people in the chat, you just found a great channel run by even greater people.
Yay.
Thank you, Jay. We appreciate you. So now we are up to our number 8. I'm very excited for my number 8, but we're starting with Justin. What you got for us, Justin, at number 8?
This one may or may not be a little obscure. I feel like this is a really like low-key movie that more people should see. It's a movie called Running Scared. Have you guys seen Running Scared with Paul
Yeah,
Walker?
it's been a very long time, but I've seen it.
Extremely underrated movie, but there's a sequence in there. Basically, Paul Walker is on it's like one of those takes place all in one night type of movies as he tries to track down this gun. And it takes him all across these cities, and he goes all across the city and all these weird sort of edges of the city. And one takes him, and one of these little side journeys takes him to this basement where these two, like an evil married couple, I don't know how to say it without being too inappropriate, but they kidnap children and take them into their creepy basement playhouse. And it is one of the creepiest scenes I've ever seen as Paul Walker sort of makes his way through this neon like sort of basement that looks like what would just be a friendly kid's room. And then it slowly starts taking a turn and you realize, anybody who's seen the movie knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember being very unsettled by that.
It's
that
so
movie.
disturbing.
I have it on Blu-ray, but I have not watched it since I bought it. So I haven't seen it probably since 2006.
Yeah.
I have it written down so we could check that one out too. That's another thing I love about these live streams when we do these.
Yeah.
We're hearing about all the different movies.
I'm not a huge Paul Walker fan. Easily his best role in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's up there.
Yeah.
Danielle says part of the reason I love these live streams is that no one knows anyone else's list. Thank you. I love that too. Me and Ashley. I try to sneak peeks at her list all the time, and she gets so pissed. I just subscribed. Thank you. And if you subscribe to these gentlemen, they appreciate it too. I promise. Speaking of bugs, the giant bug, specifically the giant bee, freaked me out in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Oh, good
call.
Yeah.
This is my favorite channel. Thank you, Charles. I hope I don't disappoint. Running Scared is awesome. Highly recommend. I got you.
Yes.
Papa Bear and Mama Bear, Running Scared. Joyride with Paul Walker. I like it. I know she likes it. We just rewatched it recently. What about you?
That's a fun movie.
No.
I have not seen it since I was a teenager, but I remember watching it a lot as a teenager. So I liked it.
Yeah.
What about you, Justin?
What's that?
Do you like Joyride with
Oh,
Paul Walker?
Joyride, of course, yeah. That's one of those classic. Rusty Nail.
Yeah.
Such a bizarre movie.
I didn't realize until we just rewatched it is that Rusty Nail is the guy from Silence of the Lambs, Buffalo Bob.
Oh, you're right.
It's totally. And I was like, "There's no way." We looked it up, and it totally was.
Did they make sequels? Did they make more of those or something?
Yeah, I got one of them back there. Joyride 3. I think I found it at Dollar General and bought it.
Running
Probably
Scared.
Dollar
Like
Tree.
full
I'll watch
on
anything with Steve's on.
I gotta watch this movie.
What was
Maya
that?
says, okay, I guess I'll sub too, Ken. Thanks, Maya.
Did you see The White Lotus that came on HBO?
I loved it.
Yeah, he was in that, and that was probably the first time I seen Steve Zahn in like 15 years or
That was a
something. It felt
really
like it'd been
fun
forever.
show.
Yeah,
I
it was
really
a great
enjoyed
show.
that.
Have you guys seen the 1993 movie Judgment Night?
It's been a while, but yeah.
They said there's a part in that movie when the characters first get lost in the wrong part of town and witness a murder with no way to get help. It's terrifying in a real life way. Ugh.
Yeah, that's back when Emilio Estevez was killing it.
Did I say Buffalo Bob? I meant Buffalo Bill. Why did I say Buffalo Bob?
I don't know.
God. Thank you, Maya, for
I know what
correcting me.
you're
I'm
talking
like an
about.
idiot. High Tension is a very underrated movie. We just did Justin's number
8.
No, we're up to Justin's number 8 now, right?
8 was running scared for me, so it's
Okay.
yeah.
So we're
Is
at
it my
my
turn?
number 8 now, which is Turn Around. The never-ending story when Artex is sinking in that quicksand and he's trying to get the horse out. And it makes it all the more sad and scary to learn that due to a malfunction on set, that horse really died.
Yeah. that's
Like the
what it was.
horse really went down and drowned.
Is
and
that
died on
is
set.
that true?
Yes, 100% true.
No way.
Yes. So due to a malfunction, the horse unfortunately really did die in that scene.
Like in that shot, you're actually seeing like.
You're
So the
actually watching
kid
the
is
horse
actually
die.
crying. It's not even
Yes.
acting.
Like,
How did I not know that?
Yeah.
What the
that's
fuck?
fucked up.
Yeah, dude. Look it up. Like that was fucked. Man.
My mind is so like thoroughly blown right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you
That's
go back
sad
and
as
watch it now,
shit.
you're watching him with that emotion, like Artex, don't give up, you stupid horse. And then that horse is like, bro,
Wow.
get me out of here.
Yeah.
Wow.
that's
Yeah, because you can see him kicking around and stuff. Oh, God, that's horrible.
I know.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah,
It's
so
horrible.
that also increases why that movie made my list. Before we get to yours, my love. Speaking of bees, whenever I see bees and I think of my girl, I stayed away from them my whole life. I guess that is
God, that's
scary.
another one. Yeah.
He can't see without his glasses.
Oh.
Yeah, that scene made my sisters cry every time we watched it. I was like,
Speaking of that movie,
That made me cry.
Like how they were in a morgue, like
Yeah.
yeah. Go down. That always freaked me out.
I know, but that movie, I was always like, dude, you can get rid of Daniel Stern and Joe Pesci, but you get done up by some bees. Get out of
Yeah.
here, Macaulay. Raid for Redemption, first initial fight. There's a creepy scene in Parasite where someone is peeking up behind a table. Never seen that
Yeah.
either.
You've
Oh,
never
you
seen.
gotta
Oh,
see
Ken, you got to
Parasite,
see that,
yeah.
man.
Okay.
Put that on the
excuse
list.
Me, what? As if that scene isn't traumatizing enough. Artex. Yes. And the horse dies, man. Like, it's so heartbreaking. If you guys don't believe me, look it up. I promise you.
I looked it up.
Yeah. She was like, shut the hell up. And I was like, I'm serious. The horse died. It's heartbreaking. So, you want to give us your number 8, my love?
Yeah. So you're probably gonna be like, this is number 8, but mine's from Labyrinth, the Helping Hands.
Yeah.
When
She's up against the wall
falling
and
down, yeah, and then they go together and they like talk and stuff. Like those things were so creepy. Like when they made the faces and they started talking to her.
She chose down.
Yeah, so that scared the shit out of me when I was.
the dark side of Jim Henson in that movie is really awesome.
Yeah.
Yes. That's awesome. You know what? I'm going to be completely transparent. That scene is not on my list.
No, is
No.
anything from Labyrinth? on
No,
the list?
Labyrinth did not make my list.
I think there's a few different scary scenes.
There
honestly.
is, but none of them hit me that hard. I think it's because I watched it so much as a kid, I got desensitized to it.
That
What
could
about
be.
you, Ken? You want to start number 8?
Yeah, my number 8 is another Jake Gyllenhaal movie, and it's a Denis Villeneuve movie as well. But it's not Prisoners. It's my personal favorite of his, and that's Enemy. The scene at the end where she walks in the room and there's this spider there, and if anybody's seen it, you know what I'm talking about. But it's like the biggest, like, what the fuck moments.
Mhm.
At the end,
and it
are you talking about
totally
the end
gets
when he
you.
walks into the spider.
Yes,
Yeah.
in the room, and
Yes,
it's all
dude.
crawling in this. It's very unsettling, just kind of eerie, and it's the perfect cap to that movie. But it definitely kind of makes you jump and kind of like, whoa, take it back a little bit. So, that's my number 8.
That was a ballsy way to end that movie, man.
It really,
was.
was. a ballsy
Yeah,
way.
I've
It's
gone
sort of ambiguous and weird. It doesn't really fit into what was like. It fits the theme of the whole movie, but it just does come out of nowhere at the ending scene.
Yeah, I remember watching that movie, and I didn't really love it the first time I watched it, but I've seen it like maybe 5 or 6 times since. And that's really a movie that the more you watch it, the more the layers start peeling back, and you just start to understand what's really going on.
Yeah.
Funny enough, I was going to say that same thing about Dumb and Dumber 2. Like, the more I watched it, the more I love that movie.
I never
real
watched
quick,
it.
Anything with the lady from Throw Mama from the Train. She was also, oh yeah, you're right there. She was also in the Goonies and a lot of other things. Yes, that's a great movie too. Throw Mama from the Train. Labyrinth with all the hands was creepy as fuck.
I agree.
David Bowie's Bulge as well. That was one of my favorite parts of the movie. Sorry to bring up a video game, but this topic makes me think of the Dream Maze in the original Max Payne game. The sequence is very different in tone than the rest of the game and kind of freaky. I love that. Anywhere you could find horror, find it. I Can't Stay Long. Here's my top 3. The day after when the first nuclear bomb goes off and everything pauses for a sec. the Nazi face melts, and Wizard of Oz, those freaking monkeys. Jay, I'm sorry you can't stay. Hope you can catch the replay, but man, I understand life happens. Thank you for joining us at all. So we've all done our number 8, so now we're going to go to number 7. I will start number 7. This is, again, where in my honorable mentions I had Ghostbusters 2 because I don't believe that's a horror. To me, the Terminator is 100% a horror movie. It's a slasher movie to me. I think the Terminator is undeniably a slasher horror movie. Terminator 2, however, is not. It's more of a sci-fi action film, but the part with the T-1000 where he turns into the security guard and he turns around and he does the finger through the eyeball. Full house. And then he gets the finger thing through the eyeball. Scared the hell out of me as a kid, man. So
that's such a great moment.
Yeah, it is. So number
it was 2. Those 2 actors are twin brothers.
Oh,
so
really?
So they were actually playing against each other in that scene. I always wondered about that. I read about that in one of the somewhere along the line. So pretty cool to know that they were 2 brothers doing that scene together. Great scene, man.
Yeah, it is. And I never knew that. And I know you're a Terminator fan. So if I need any Terminator.
Oh, Terminator 2 is the best action film ever made.
Yep.
I know. Well, let me ask you real quick before I get way off topic. And I'll for sure watch when I get home. Y'all have a good one. Stay safe. Much love. Jay, we love you. Be safe, my friend. Justin, I want your opinion. Is Terminator a horror movie?
It's I don't see how you can categorize it as anything else. If anything, you could maybe subcategorize it as sci-fi horror, but horror is still going to be in there. You know, just like the first Alien movie. You know,
good call.
I consider that a horror movie as well. So, I mean, what is Arnie doing? He's going around just killing motherfuckers the entire movie.
He literally
slashing his way through the movie.
Phone book and kills every Sarah Connor.
Right.
He wears a mask to cover his identity.
Like
he's totally a slasher.
It's like a monster movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The Terminator definitely feels like a slasher to me as well. I feel the same way with Cobra with Stallone. I can see that. The twins from T2 are also in Gremlins 2 as scientists. Yes, those are the same.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, good call on that.
Yes. The first Terminator is definitely a horror. It's only thought of otherwise because the direction the rest of the franchise took. I can see that as well. So that was my number 7 was T2. What's your number 7, babe?
Okay, so you guys might make fun of me for this one.
Never.
But it is Henry and the Hendersons, where Bigfoot like jumps onto the window and like scares them and they like go off the road. I don't know why, but that freaked me out when I was
It's a good jump scare.
It was a jump scare for sure.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, it's really a comedy, but
Well, you were talking about Indy Jones. I haven't seen Harry and the Hendersons since I was very, very little, so I'd love to revisit that.
I think our kids will enjoy that movie. I really enjoyed it.
I have been trying to get my family to watch Harry and the Hendersons for like 5 years now.
It's
Nobody
so
ever
good.
wants to watch it because I used to love it when I was a kid, but I haven't seen it since.
Even
Another Jim Henson.
He's getting
creation.
into the fridge and then he growls at him. Like that freaked me out too.
I gotta rewatch. I haven't seen this movie since I was probably 4 or 5 years old. So it's been a good 30 years since I've seen this movie. So I would really like to go and revisit it again because I remember fond memories.
Family movie night.
Yep, let's do it.
Okay.
You want to give us your number 8 or 7, Ken?
Yeah, my number 7 is from a war movie that came out in 2019, and it is 1917. And it's the scene where they're below in the bunkers and the rat trips the tripwire and the whole room blows up. It explodes. It's a huge jump scare. You see it coming, like with the rat running towards the tripwire, but it's almost like your mind, it goes too quick for your mind to really register what's happening until it's happening. And when it happens, it's just like, oh shit. And then everything comes down. They get trapped in there. But it's a great kind of like jump scare moment that really made me jump and kind of scared me when I watched it in the theater. So, and 1917 is a great film. I don't know if you guys have seen it.
There's a few scenes in the movie that'll get you like that. And what's terrifying about that is it was real. So it makes every moment like that really terrifying.
The scene where he's floating down the river too with the dead bodies.
Yeah, as he's running through all the bombs going off and everything. There's some amazing sequences in that movie.
It was my favorite movie that came out that year.
But that scene you're talking about is incredibly tense, and it's a wild moment.
It was all done with one shot, wasn't it? There's like no cuts, right? It's all just like
one
shot.
I think they're like cleverly hidden.
Yeah, there's one like distinct cut like right in the middle, but that's it.
Okay, that's incredible. Justin, before we get to you, Charles says Terminator is totally a slasher. I love you more every day. Oh my God, I just rewatched Harry and the Hendersons last night. That's awesome. I just watched the Stallone movie I See You today. It's not labeled as horror, but totally falls into it. Never seen that one either. Are we talking only movies, or can we also do TV shows? Throw in a TV show. Hello. Well, hello to you, local legends, Bert and Moran. I totally agree with you, Tim Talks Talkies. I never bring up I See You with Stallone because I feel no one has seen it but me. Well, yeah, it's not talked about much. Well, it will be seen here in the next couple of weeks by us. Justin, you want to give us your number 7?
I have one. Yeah, I have a good one here. I think this one may or may not be heard from by one of you guys too. So I'm curious to see if you guys feel the same about this one. Little Monsters, the boy reveal at the end of that movie. How terrifying is that moment when they do that slow, they rotate the camera around him, and in the back you can see the skin is pulled over his face.
Yeah.
Great practical effects, a terrifying moment, and it's just a great little bit of monologue too as he delivers that monologue to all those kids. It's just terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wish.
I think it's the same actor who's the guy on the couch in Pulp Fiction. If I'm correct on that one, I think it's the same actor who does that role. So
really,
I think so. Yeah, that moment just scared the shit out of me.
And Danny agrees with you. Yes.
Yeah,
Little
so
Monsters
good.
was such a classic. The boy at the end of Little Monsters was so creepy. I See You was directed by the same director of I Know What You Did Last Summer. Nice.
Nice.
So yeah, Little Monsters is another one I think our kids would really like.
We
Yeah,
watched
I have
it.
not seen Little Monsters in a
Holy.
long time. I got
Yeah.
that Vestron title, but I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Howie Mandel kills it, man. That's Fred Savage, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, and Daniel Stern too. Great.
Yeah, Daniel Stern. So now we are up to number 6. Ashley, that is you starting at number 6.
Okay, my number 6 is from E.T. When he's like really sick and like crying, and then all those like the astronauts like break into their house, and she's like, "This is my house," and they're like taking over. That also scared me. When
He's
I-
all gray and scary
Yeah.
looking.
Yeah, and he's like screeching, and yeah,
That feeling of
horrifying and
something
heartbreaking.
happening and I can't stop it.
yeah, like they're
Yeah.
taking over their home and invading it. Yeah,
I
that
can
for sure
totally see that.
was scary to me.
First time I saw E.T., that was the first movie that ever, like, as I was a kid, I have no shame in my game. I cried my ass off the first time
Yeah.
I watched E.T. First movie that ever did that to me. I think every kid cried at the end of E.T., but
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's so
I
good.
was obsessed with E.T. when I was a little kid.
Angels in the Outfield. I still cry every time I watch that, man.
Yeah.
That's
the
a
first
good one
movie I
too,
remember
man.
crying at, but that's the one that when they're in the courtroom and he's like, Dad, and he's walking away, like, oh,
Mhm.
it gets me every fucking time.
it's
I
good,
can't-
man.
I'm such a baby. Yeah, that's funny. You're not the only one that thinks that. E.T. dying still gets me to this day. Ken, you want to give us your number 6?
Yeah, my number 6 is from a movie from 2007. It was nominated for Best Picture, and it's There Will Be Blood, directed by Paul Thomas Anderson. And the scene I'm picking is the end, the bowling alley. I drank your milkshake. I drank it up, and then he beats Paul Dano to death with the bowling pin.
A bowling pin.
It's a great scene. It's horrifying. Just Daniel Day-Lewis' performance in that moment is absolutely horrifying. He nails it, and the scene itself is just horrific. So, There Will Be Blood is my number 6.
Incredible pick, dude. That movie's so
Yeah.
amazing.
And that whole movie, I would even almost call this movie a horror movie. Like the score alone, like makes it almost horror because it has this
Yeah.
very like horror tone to it.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that the score enhances more than we think.
Oh yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
like as we're watching a movie, the score can make or break it. So
That probably is the
Very exciting.
closest that he's gotten to a horror movie for sure.
Yeah, I'd say so. It feels like I'm watching a horror movie when I watch it. Somebody's like, it's almost like The Shining. You're watching this man's like slow descent into
Yes.
madness of
Yeah.
the whole movie.
Danny says, speaking of E.T., Mac and Me, the E.T. ripoff is pretty horrifying. Dude, There Will Be Blood is amazing. Ken, I love how you had the physical copies right there on your list.
Yeah.
I'm so pissed that I didn't do that
I know.
because I own every single movie but one that I've mentioned out of this whole thing.
Right. So do
It's
we.
weird for me, but like I almost have to have the physical representation in my hand when I talk about stuff because I do it on my channel.
I keep on all my movies are behind me, and I just keep on wanting to grab them.
Yeah.
Maya says, working on my list right now. Ken, you should do one of these streams with me eventually. I'd love to, Maya. I think we could have a blast. A score is one of the most vital aspects of a film in general. Completely agree. I actually just bought Mac and Me. I haven't seen it since probably the 90s. Have you guys seen the alternate ending where the kid gets shot up and they show it? No.
What?
Yeah, they cut that ending.
Do you all know like the Paul Rudd, like Conan O'Brien bit that they do where he acts like he's going to show a scene from the Paul Rudd movie, but he shows the scene with the kid flying off the cliff?
He's done it for years.
It's so hilarious. Like every time I'm in a bad mood, I'll watch that and it cheers me up. I love it.
So we're up to my number 6, which is from Tim Burton's Batman. And I don't know why this spooked me as a kid so bad, but after the Joker falls off the top of the building and he's dead, and the camera's just doing that spinning pan down onto him, and that laugh box is doing the ha 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 ha, and he's just got that smile on his face as he's laying there dead on the concrete. Like, I used to love that movie, but I would always run away at that scene when I was a little kid because it scared me so bad. Because to me, as a kid, the thought of death was terrifying.
Yeah.
And to see this guy that's dead, but he's laughing with a smile on his face, like that juxtaposition to me, my brain couldn't comprehend that as a kid. So that's one of those scenes that as I seen it as a kid, that juxtaposition just blew me away. Like, this guy's laughing and smiling, but he's dead, which is the scariest thing in the world to me at a young age.
I feel like there's so many people who haven't seen that first, like modern audiences. God, I wish they'd go back and watch that first Batman movie.
Just the scene where she splashes the water on his face and he's holding his hands and he's crying and then he goes boom. That scene always got me as a kid.
One of the best scenes ever in cinema history is when they're at the art gallery playing Prince. That to me is one of the best scenes ever made in any movie ever. I could dig that scene. So, like, every time that scene plays, I want to destroy something beautiful, Fight Club style. So yeah. And see, that one debate I'll never get into: Jack Nicholson or Heath Ledger. They're two completely different characters, man. Like they're both the Joker, two
and
completely
Joaquin Phoenix.
different Jokers. So I'll never ever get into that debate.
I gotta go with Jack on that one though.
See,
controversial opinion.
They're both great. I mean, if you gun to my head, I'm gonna pick Jack. She knows that. But Heath Ledger changed my view of the way I judge things, because when Heath Ledger got casted to play the Joker, I was like, oh man, the 10 things I love about you guys are gonna be the Joker. This is lame. And then he killed it.
So all the broke back Joker comments and all that stuff.
I will never typecast. Like, would
end up being a career defining role, for him.
I think it's easily like top 3 best performances of this whole century. It's great.
Tim says, I didn't tune in immediately, so was RoboCop with the toxic waste melting man mentioned? Not yet.
Oh shit, that's a good one.
That's a good one. For sure about the Prince scene in Batman. Thank you. I love that scene. Joaquin Phoenix is the best Joker. Hard to argue there. Danielle says Team Joaquin. I mean, like, I think we can all agree that they're not Jared Leto. So we are up to number 5. Ken, would you like to start us off at number 5?
Sure. And a lot of people know on my channel, they give me crap about it, but it's already been mentioned. E.T. is one of my all-time favorite movies. It's my number 2 movie of all time.
Wait, people give you shit for that?
I don't know why, but there's a certain section of people that like to act like E.T.'s not as good as some people say it is. It's my favorite Steven Spielberg movie. It's like one of the first movies I just remember watching as a kid. So one of the first scenes ever in any movie that scared me was in the beginning where they find E.T. in the cornfield and you just see him going like all of that. It just freaked me out, scared me. It's a great horror scene. That's my number 5. But I absolutely adore this movie. I watch it like once or twice a year. It's just one of my all-time favorite films.
I got my picture taken outside of JCPenney's when this movie came out on the little bicycle. Like, do you remember they did that? Yeah, I have my picture.
I remember your picture.
Yeah, I used to love it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Justin, before we move on to you, I want to go up to the chat. So real quick, I'm a Nicholson Joker fan. Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, when Ace goes to Ray Finkel's parents' house and tours his room, laces out.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Marino's like, that's fucking awesome. Team Jack for me, but Joaquin is close second. Jack for sure. E.T. is one of the best, has been, and always will be. Agree. E.T. is a perfect movie. I agree with all that. I love E.T. I don't know why anybody would give you shit for that. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
It's just something that I'm very like in the circles and community I run with. I'm very closely tied to ET, so a lot of people like to rail me up by saying it's not that good.
A lot of people just like to hate on Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
See,
They
my favorite
do.
Spielberg
It's
movie,
ridiculous.
For me,
Yeah.
my favorite Spielberg movie is a toss-up between Jurassic Park and Jaws.
Mhm.
But E.T.'s definitely up there, man.
They're
for
all
sure.
in my
Mhm.
top 15 movies
Yeah.
of all time. So
Yeah.
like it's literally pretty interchangeable. But
Yeah.
Maya says the part where the floor becomes quicksand in Jumanji got me scared. I can
Yeah,
see
it's
that.
good.
Jumanji was totally a scary movie to me as a kid. Justin, you want to give us your number 6?
Absolutely. Okay, yeah, you said 5 at first, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I think we missed one.
Yeah, 6, my bad.
My
well,
number
no,
6.
I just gave number 5.
You gave your number 5. I think we were on 6,
You skipped.
unless I'm wrong.
Well, I only have 4 movies left in my stack, so I think I gave 5 just now.
Okay.
Did you give your number 6, Justin?
My no, I didn't give my number 6. Maybe that's what.
Okay, there we go.
Okay. I think you skipped him.
Well, you
Okay.
get to go twice.
Yeah.
Well,
Your
my
6,
number
then
6
5.
was one that's already been mentioned. It was the Return to Oz Wheeler scene.
Mhm.
So that's what I had in there.
Okay.
Should I do 5?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 5. Now I have just an inherent fear, like a phobia of bears. So the scene in Revenant, where Leonardo DiCaprio gets attacked by the bear, I don't think I've ever watched that scene and not at least closed my eyes or turned away a little bit during that sequence. It's so intense.
Yeah.
It's so intense. And just when you think it's over, she comes back for more.
Yes.
And it's just horrific. And the effects
Leo
are
is
great.
Such an amazing actor too, man.
Uh-huh.
That's
I love that movie. And that's one of the few times that you can watch like a CGI animal in a movie and it looks real. Like,
Yeah.
it's really effective. So yeah, that's number 5, Revenant, bear scene.
Run
Yeah,
it.
it's so good.
Catch up on the comments real quick. Maya says she's only doing a top 5. Can't think of more. I was very hard to scare as a child. Gus says, hello, Ken and everyone. How's everyone's night? Gus.
Hey, Gus.
Hello.
What's up?
We appreciate you coming on. It means a lot to us. How can anyone hate Spielberg? I agree. I think E.T. is more of a running joke between friends. Yeah, E.T. is just a bus Ken. Yes, everybody agrees on that.
Yeah, it's a whole
Was the
thing.
bear CGI or practical in The Revenant? I think the bear was CGI in The Revenant, wasn't it, Justin?
He had to be.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was.
It looks amazing though. You watch the behind the scenes, like Leo really went all out for that. They were really jerking him around and doing some crazy shit for that scene.
Yeah. So my number 5 would be, it's been mentioned, the monkeys in The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Those scared me as a kid, man. Like, oh my gosh, I don't know.
When
the way
she's
they're
sending them
jumping
all out
around.
and they're all going out the window and stuff, it's really
Yes.
crazy.
Totally scared the shit out of me as a kid. So number 5.
Wasn't that movie made? Was it in the 20s or 30s? Like that movie's almost 100 fucking years old. That's just insane.
It was 39, I think.
Wow.
I feel like.
Yeah, 1939.
Wow.
I thought it was 39. That sounded right in my brain, but there was one time in the 90s I was wrong, so it could happen again.
Yep.
But not today, my friends. It was 1939. So we are up to
I haven't done mine.
your number 5.
Okay. So this is a Disney movie, and it's The Beauty and the Beast. So the West Wing, where she's not supposed to go in the West Wing, and she goes over there and is like, she picks up the flower and stuff, and then Beast sees her, and he's like, "You're not supposed to be over here," and he starts ripping. Yeah, and he starts ripping stuff apart. Yeah, like that was creepy.
He went a little far there, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially since you were just warming up to the beast. So
Right.
it's like he betrayed your trust.
Until
He has no
Coco
chill.
came out. Until Coco came out, Beauty and the Beast was my favorite Disney movie, and I'm not gonna lie, and I'm not gonna front about it. I love that movie so much. Coco dethroned it as my favorite Disney Pixar movie, because I guess Pixar is considered that. But yeah, Coco dethroned.
That's a sad one.
Coco
Yeah.
creeps up on you at the end.
Coco every time.
Yeah.
I'm hoping The Witches is in someone's top 5. when they take their skin off, truly haunted me as a kid. Danny, I'm gonna tell you right now.
I think that's a horror movie.
Yeah, that's a horror movie. Yeah.
That's why I didn't put it on my list. Honest to God, that's the only reason I didn't.
Yeah.
The Witches to me is a total horror movie. So
I feel the same way about that as I do Ernest Scared Stupid. They're horror stories.
Right.
So they're horror movies.
There were 2 cartoons back in the day that were scary. One about a dog escaping a testing laboratory, and one about rabbits trying to find a new home. I can't remember what they were called. Don't remember either one of them. The Machinist, the child ride sequence, and the ending. Dude, see, this again to me is a horror movie. The Fan. I thought The Fan was a total horror movie with De Niro and Snipes, where he's like obsessed with him.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was a total horror suspense to me, Daniel. That's the only reason.
I remember that movie coming out. I've never seen that one.
It's to me, it's a total horror suspense. Like it's just like your typical stalker type movie. Yes, you may never go into the West Wing, or scary stuff will go down. Yes, Beast went ham on it.
He did.
My mind keeps going to 80s action and sci-fi movies with great practical effects as ones with horror elements. Total Recall. Yes, when the eyes are bulging out, like, oh, man.
Paul Verhoeven, that movie's got a bunch of really gnarly stuff in it.
Yes, it does.
That movie holds up so incredibly well. I was shocked when I watched it this year. I was expecting a cheesy science fiction, which it kind of is, but it's also just a really fucking good movie.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like this, Maya. My number 5 would actually be the opening title sequence of each episode of the Goosebumps show.
Oh, it's a great intro.
You're in for a scare.
Yeah.
I loved it.
There was a few Goosebumps that freaked me out.
Yeah. There's something in the basement.
The dad.
There's something in the basement. He's the plant.
He's the plant, yeah.
Yes. That's my favorite one.
Yeah.
That's my favorite one, hands down. So now we are up to number 4. Something also that I want to remind everybody in the chat. At the end of this list, when we get to our number 1, we will count down our honorable mentions up to number 1. So that way, if you did miss the beginning of the chat, you will still get caught up on what our choices were. And for anybody that's joined a little late, I have the links for Mid-Level Media and for Movie Watch Daily down here in the description. So make sure you're subscribing to them. They're great channels, great guys, and they deserve our support. If you're new here to Sledgehammer Horror, not Hoarder. She's the Sledgehammer Hoarder. Make sure
maybe a new channel idea
here too.
Whatever.
The opening of Are You Afraid of the Dark was scary as well. I agree. So we are up to number 4. Not quite the bronze medal, but we're here. Justin, you want to start us off with number 4?
Yeah, and this is one we've mentioned. I think we might all have this one on our list. Judge Doom, Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
No
the
comment.
Sequence at the end of that movie, where he gets flattened by the steamroller, and when he says, about killing his brother, I talk just like this, and his eyes pop out of his head. That is a legitimate, terrifying. It still scares the shit out of me. Christopher Lloyd is amazing, and the enhancements with like the animation and stuff. It's just, it's a lot.
I have a hard time deciding on what's the better Christopher Lloyd role, Judge Doom or Doc Brown. He's so good in that movie.
So good.
What you were talking about when he raises up and he's flat, like that is such a frightening sequence.
And it's kind of a big reveal, a little bit of a twist at the end.
Yep.
That, when you're a kid, you're not expecting it.
That movie is so good.
Doc Brown. It's so iconic. Yeah,
it's right outside of my top 10. It's my number 11 movie of all time, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I love that movie. It's
got a nice steelbook coming out, 4K edition.
I know. I cannot wait.
Yeah,
I cannot wait.
It's a cool release. Yeah.
For me, number 1 is Back to the Future. That's my favorite movie of all time. Yes, I'm a horror fan through and through and through.
That's my number 3 movie of all time.
Yeah, Back to the Future is easily my favorite. So my number 4 has been talked about as well. It is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, the tunnel scene. Again, another movie that it's funny because as a kid, I was like, man, that'd be so dope to go there, except for the tunnel. Everything else was fine for me. Like I'll drink the pop and fart and burp or whatever. The Oompa Loompas, I'll punt one of those fuckers. But that tunnel.
Turned into a blueberry.
Yeah, juice me. But the tunnel, that's, just his expression, like that blank expression, he's just so serious and he's singing and look, no offense to Johnny Depp, no one can touch.
No, you can offend Johnny Depp. That was a horrible performance.
Yeah, so that for me is definitely there. So before I get to your number 4, my love, I'm going to catch up on the chat a little bit.
Okay.
Are You Afraid of the Dark? Slightly over Goosebumps for me. Grew up loving Nickelodeon. Can't hate, man. That chocolate or dark chocolate. They both taste great. The viewer beware, you're in for a scare. My favorite episode is Nutty Living Dummy 3. Brought those single episode. Yes, I would love to buy those. Hey, Mike, what's up? The scene in Mulholland Drive with the gypsy. Yes, that barely missed my list when they walk around the side of the building. It jumps out. What a great clip, Mike. Roger Rabbit with the killing the shoe cartoon is terrifying. It's sad.
Yeah.
The Dip, definitely scary. I'm not even a tune. We really were all fooled into believing the quicksand would be a bigger problem in life than it currently is. Very true. So true on the quicksand. I expected to dodge quicksand regularly in life. The tunnel scene. Oh, Anna, thank you for joining us. Hey, I don't know if I can say anything, Anna, but I'm going to anyway. Sorry if you get mad at me. Anna just recently got married, guys. She had a beautiful wedding.
Oh,
We're all
congratulations.
so happy for you,
That's
Anna.
awesome.
Sorry if I wasn't supposed to say anything, but I'm just so proud of you, and I'm so happy. I still got to show you the pictures.
Okay.
But we're so happy for you, Anna. We wish you all the best, love. Hey, guys, if you just want to go jerk off.
I was going to tell you the trolls.
Bro.
Yep, that one's blocked. That one's saved for later.
All the
Tommy
links are in the
says,
description.
I heard the Mike TV actor was the most difficult child actor to deal with on set.
Hey, that dude was a star, though, man.
Who was that?
He was good. Mike TV.
Oh my gosh! Listen, Zoe Saldana in the car on fire in the film Crash. Remember? Listen, I'm not even lying. Have you guys seen Crash?
Not
Not
for a
since it
very
came
long
out.
time.
Dude, we were watching it in her bedroom when we were kids, and I'm sitting there eating a plate of chicken nuggets, and the part happened with the little girl and the gun, and I literally threw chicken nuggets all over her.
You
bedroom.
threw
I
your
was like,
chicken nuggies
"Oh."
everywhere?
Huh?
You threw your chicken nuggies everywhere?
He did,
There
in
was-
my bed.
There was dino nuggies all over her bed, bro. Like I was
Dino
freaking out
nuggies.
at that moment. Yes, we do love Anna. Congratulations, Anna. Okay, she's not mad at me. Good. Yes.
Right now, anyway.
Yeah. The Billy Zane Phantom movie, several horror scenes in that one. Treat Williams killed it.
Shout out for a Billy Zane mention.
Yes. The Hunchback of Notre Dame, Frollo sings about Esmeralda and the fire comes out. Oh, I didn't even think about that. And congrats on the wedding. Yes, Anna, we're all so happy for you. I can't wait for you to share everything with everybody because it was such a beautiful wedding. I'm so happy for you, my friend. Anna's a great friend of me and Ashley's, and we're so proud of you. So now we are up to
My number 4.
your number 4.
Okay, so funny enough, my number 4 is also Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Doom.
Nice.
He was creepy, and his eyes pop out in like his helium voice.
Yes.
Yeah, that scared the shit out of me. I'm not gonna lie.
They
And
just don't make kids movies like they used to. You know what I
They really
mean?
don't. No.
And wasn't there a scene in there where Bugs Bunny was with what's his name when they were falling and they had the anvil? It was Bugs Bunny and
It was wasn't it Daffy Duck? Maybe I feel like it was the Disney. Maybe it was Donald Duck. I feel like it was the Disney
it was
version.
Mickey Mouse.
Was it Mickey Mouse?
'Cause that was
They
the
had
first
some
time-
Disney. Didn't they have a mix of Disney and
I
like?
feel like it
that's
was one
only
Warner
time.
Brothers
Time.
character and one Disney character that
Yeah.
were falling, but I don't feel like it was Mickey Mouse. I feel like he was falling with Donald Duck or something. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Maybe it was because I just remember that was like
Or maybe him
Never-
and Daffy were falling.
never
it was a
before
duck, though, I
seen
think.
stuff.
Yeah.
So we are up to Ken's number 4 now.
Time for my number 4. So I'm bringing some disaster movies into this list because disaster movies can be very terrifying when done correctly. And I have Twister right here.
Oh,
The opening of Twister is what still terrifies me to this day. And as a kid, I was deathly afraid of tornadoes.
Oh, me too.
And this movie kind of cured my fear of tornadoes because I wanted to be like a storm chaser and stuff after I saw this movie. But the opening to this film, just with Helen Hunt and her parents and just the music that's playing, it's very ominous. You see the weather report on the TV. They're running out to the underground shelter, and you see like the lights going on. It's just a very like ominous, like terrifying moment. And then he's holding on to the door and he gets ripped away and just flies up into it. And the way that the Twister looks, it was just incredible special effects. I think they still hold up. And yeah, this number 4 right here, this a great movie. There's tons of great horror scenes in this, like the Shining drive-in sequence is also a really good one. But yeah, Twister, the opening. My number
I miss
5.
all of those natural disaster movies of the 90s, man. Volcanoes and
I do too.
hurricanes and
Yeah.
all that shit.
And now it's like if Roland Emmerich's name's not attached, they don't do it.
Right.
I literally threw up in my mom's brand new car when I was a kid because there was like a tornado watch and I was so like petrified of it. She was so mad at me, like wanted to beat my ass probably.
She should have rubbed your nose in it.
I was scared, man.
Maya says, another side note, a scene that doesn't technically scare me, but it makes me super uncomfortable is the paper cuts bit from the first Jackass movie. Don't even get me started on
It's hard to watch.
Did the basement scene from Home Alone get anybody else? Which one are you talking about?
Oh, with the radiator, the fire thing?
The heater thing?
Oh, yeah.
I almost had some Home
Runs
Alone on
away
my
from
list.
it.
Yeah. Movies used to be dark, like the Brave Little Toaster, the AC unit killing himself.
Oh, yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
Another niche one, but this show I've been attempting to find for like 5 years called Johnny and the Sprites. There's a creepy neighbor that always unsettled me and still creeped me out when I rewatched the scene last week. No, I've never seen it.
I've never even heard of that one.
Me neither.
Put that on the list.
Billy Zane from The Phantom was a hero of mine growing up, and I met him a few years ago and told him all about it. He was very nice about it. I don't get starstruck, but I did for him. That'd be a good one to get starstruck for. Twister, good one. Kind of crazy that Twister has kicked off the modern disaster movie trend. It's still one of the absolute best, for sure.
Mhm.
The characters make that movie what it is. Dante's Peak was another good one.
I almost had a scene from Dante's Peak on mine. The hot springs where they're like boiled in the water.
Large Marge got me as a kid. I agree, Mike. So has everybody done their number 4s?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to start with number 3. And this scene devastated me as a kid. And to this day, I still feel like this is one of the scariest scenes I've ever seen in any movie. It's from the mob movie Casino with Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci. At the end of the movie, when they lure Joe Pesci and his brother into the cornfield and they start beating his brother to death. And he's just like, he's laying there bloody and he's like, just fucking kill him, please. He's still breathing. And they start beating Joe Pesci at that point. And they beat them within an inch of their lives. And then they throw him in the hole and they bury him alive. And Joe Pesci spitting the dirt up. Like, that scene is just so intense. And
that's brutal, man.
I just watched that movie for the first time this year.
I love that.
It's so good.
Yeah,
it is definitely one of my favorite movies. And that scene, just like, oh my God, that scared me so bad. Like, even watching it now, it's so uncomfortable. Just the way the performance that Pesci gives in the whole movie is brilliant. But that performance right there when he's crying, he's like, please, Tony, just kill him. Just kill him. He's still breathing. Like that part, like, because you feel like Dom didn't do anything. They're doing this to send a message to Joe Pesci.
Right.
But like, he totally, Nicky, Joe Pesci's character, Nicky, he's already done enough. The bosses are just done with him. But that one, that definitely.
And Casino has is that the scene with the pen, or is that Goodfellas where he just stab? Is that Goodfellas?
Like, is this your pen?
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Tell my friend to go fuck himself, huh?
Yeah.
When he's crying, he's like, "Where's the big tough guy?" I told my friend.
Where's the big tough guy? I told my friend to go fuck himself.
Yes, dude.
So good.
He's such a badass in that movie.
He is.
You want to give us your bronze medal, your number 3, my love?
Yeah, so number 3 for me was from the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
The
beginning where he kills the mom and then he has that baby and he's like, he needs to go to hell. And then they start singing the song and like the what do you call those things that are like looking at him?
The gargoyles.
The gargoyles. Yeah, that always scared the shit out of me as a kid.
Well, they're telling him the baby's got to go to hell because he's like deformed, right?
Yeah,
because
he's misshapen.
Misshapen, yeah. Totally awesome.
What the hell was Disney thinking, just scaring little kids like that?
I don't know. I think that's maybe why I love horror so much. I don't know. It started with Hunchback of Notre Dame.
No, it
Hell
It
yeah.
was all over the place with those movies.
So before we go on to Ken's number 3, Daniel says number 3 is Zodiac. Is that horror? That's the Jake Gyllenhaal film, right? About the Zodiac killer?
Yeah.
I
David
would
Fincher.
consider that a horror. That was just like a crime drama to me, but I liked it.
I still haven't seen that one.
I remember we watched it and I liked it, but it had Jake Gyllenhaal, so I probably.
There was some like that and Seven that I think kind of ride the line between like thriller and horror a little bit, like Silence of the Lambs too.
Yeah.
Maya says, "Don't put Johnny Sprites on your list. It's fucking stupid." Number 3, Home Alone, or maybe the sequel when Kevin gets the wrong cabin with the creepy dude in New York. Yeah, I believe that was Donald Trump. Casino's better than Goodfellas. I don't feel bad saying it. I love Casino. Me too. We've had this talk before. I am a huge Casino fan. I love Casino it's one of the best movies ever made in my opinion.
The dude in Home Alone 1, the next door neighbor, he used to freak
with
me out
the
too.
shovel?
Yeah, before he found out he's like a good guy. Like, he was kind of freaky.
Oh fuck yeah, Ken, that casino scene is terrifying. Yes, it got me. It ain't better in here, kid. Yes, that is Home Alone 2. Does anybody remember the terrifying Care Bears movie in 1985? I don't.
That was a good movie.
Ken, are you excited for Chucky episode 5 tomorrow? I can't tell you how excited I am for Chucky episode 5 tomorrow.
I think we're finally getting Jennifer Tilly, and
we are.
Yeah.
And Nika. Pete. Oh, what happened?
Oh, that's my dog right here.
Oh, I didn't even realize Pete was with you. I'm like,
yeah, he hopped up on here.
I just noticed the Chucky doll in the background. Yes, Danielle, our good guy is back there watching all the time.
He's always watching me because my daughter puts him in like parts of the house just to freak me out, and it's like I'm afraid of this fucking doll.
Our 9-year-old.
Yeah, she thinks it's hilarious.
She's on the spectrum, and horror is not her thing, but she loves Chucky. And she loves to take our Chucky doll and like put it in different spots of the house. Mm-hmm. Like that's her little prank in the morning when she's getting ready for school. And there's times where it will legitimately get you like
I work
shit.
third, so I'll come home and it'll be like in my bed or something. I'm like, what the hell?
Love it. And everybody else, I agree. I'm so excited for Chucky episode 5. You guys are in for a huge ride in these next couple episodes, so I can't wait for you guys to check them out. Justin, we are up to your number 3, right?
Number 3, yes.
You did yours, right?
No, I haven't done mine. Yep.
Okay. Yep. Ken's first. Okay.
Okay.
Over here.
So mine's another film from 2007. Got nominated for Best Picture and won alongside There Will Be Blood, and that's No Country for Old Men. And pretty much any scene with Javier Bardem as Anton Chigurh is absolutely terrifying in this film. But the one that I'm going to pick out in particular is the gas station coin flip scene, which you already know what his character is capable of because you've seen him do it. And just the amount of tension in that one scene alone is just terrifying. So I think Javier Bardem is one of the best villains of the 21st century. And this is definitely a great movie, and it's definitely a horrific movie. So that's my number 3.
Nice.
Okay.
Before we get to yours, Justin, Cody, you want to talk about friends and influences? My buddy Cody Leach here, Chucky for Life. Couldn't agree more. Cody always does a live stream the day after on Wednesdays of the Chuck. I strongly recommend you watch him and CP. They're amazing when they talk about it. Cody's the man.
I checked out your stream from last week. Great conversation.
Great. He's a great guy and he knows his shit. I'm showing my A's with the Care Bear reference. Doesn't even matter, Catherine. For all I know, you were just a glimmer in your dad's eye watching Care Bears in the movie theater.
That's where all the classics were anyway.
Huh?
That's where all the classics were in the mid-'80s.
Yeah.
Maya was going to say that too, other Ken. The coin toss. I can't imagine that happening in real life. Not at all. My cousin.
It's such a tense scene. I watched it again last night to prep for it. It's just I just get drawn into it every time.
Yeah. My cousin is autistic, and him and I bonded over Child's Play 2. I brought it over for him to watch one day, and he opened up to me after we watched it. I always have that memory.
Isn't that her favorite? Chloe's
yes,
favorite?
our daughter's
Chucky
favorite.
Too?
She sent me a video after she watched it for the first time, and it was just her holding the phone, and she was like, "How's it hanging, Phil?" And like it was,
she was literally Chucky.
Yeah,
for
she was
Halloween,
Chucky for Halloween,
and we got her the
yardstick?
The yardstick, so she does that all the time. It's hilarious.
Yeah, she walks
of all the Chucky lines to say, that's a great one.
Very naughty, Mrs. Kettlewell, and it's the greatest thing in the world. I'm glad that she found something horror that she can relate. Catherine, thank you for the super sticker. I appreciate you so much. Our family appreciates you, and like I said, every penny that comes into Sledgehammer Horror goes back into Sledgehammer Horror. So thank you so much. We appreciate it. The motel scene in No Country for Old Men. With Coen Brothers mentioned, Burn After Reading was an awesome jump scare with Brad Pitt. Love that Brad Dourif continues to do Chucky.
Yeah.
Chucky
Absolutely.
and Chucky and the Gemini Killer from Exorcist 3 are Brad Dourif's iconic roles to me. And like Brad Dourif is a dream to me. He's the guy I want to meet. him and Tony Todd are the two on top of my list that I want to be able to shake their hands. But like I said, if not for just Chucky's my favorite horror franchise of all time. But I think his role in The Exorcist 3 as the Gemini Killer is one of the most underrated horror moments of all time.
Yeah, I just watched that for the first time during October. He was great in that movie.
Me
My
too,
only
yeah.
complaint is he wasn't in it enough. He only came in at like the last 30 minutes of the movie, or 40 minutes probably.
And if that movie wasn't The Exorcist 3, because everybody looks at it as a poo-poo, oh, it's an Exorcist sequel. Listen, I think The Exorcist is the scariest movie of all time, but The Exorcist 3 is such a better movie than The Exorcist, in my opinion.
I still haven't seen it.
Dude,
I think that David Fincher has a lot of explaining to do, because like that movie, Exorcist 3, feels like a David Fincher movie. So
Yeah.
if that came out before all of his movies, I'm like, you copied
you
a
need
lot
to
of your
watch it,
tone
Justin. I'm
and
telling you right
style.
now, like
I hear nothing but good. It's gotten so it's
It's a
like
great
exploded
movie.
with the cult following in the past few years ago, and I really
could
need to
never
check
put
it
it
out.
above the original, because the original is my favorite horror movie of all time. But it's a great movie.
it's a supernatural slasher.
Yeah.
Like it's more of a slasher film, and that's why I think I gravitate to it more. So Catherine said she definitely was a glimmer at that point, so I was right. Brad Dourif is great as always. The best part in anything they do, absolutely. Brad Dourif always knocks it. Lincoln,
He's
you're
great in
back.
Lord of the Rings.
Blue Velvet is just a scary movie in general. It's not in the horror genre.
Dennis Hopper.
Maya says my older brother is autistic as well. I used to always make him cry when I would watch creepy movies, even if he literally just walk in the room at the same time. Oh, Maya. But make him watch Chucky. He'll love it. That's what we've learned.
Older sisters are mean. So I hear.
So I know I did my number 3. You did your number 3, right, my love?
I did.
Ken, you just did your number 3 was No Country for Old Men, so we're at Justin's number 3 now, right?
Ken's been bringing some classy picks tonight.
My last two are basic. I promise.
I'm digging. I'm digging your choices here.
Yeah.
I have Willy Wonka. That was my number 3. So the tunnel scene. What more can you say about it? It's just amazing.
Did you all put the tunnel scene on there?
Yep.
Yeah,
that's on there.
Okay, that's the one that honestly
on everybody's list. It's just
it was on mine. It was in my top 3, but I took it off because I was like, everybody's gonna pick this.
Right.
That's the only one I took off. That's the one I was talking about.
It's just a given. It's just terrifying.
Yeah. So number 2, we are starting with you, my love.
Okay. So number 2 for me is from Batman Returns. When the penguin dies.
I knew you were gonna have this on here.
When he dies and like the penguins come out and like slide him into the water, and then you see his dead face. It's like above shot, and you see his dead face, and then the penguins are looking down on him.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but that freaked me out when I watched it the first time. Like it was scary.
We have this argument all the time because I prefer Tim Burton's Batman, where she prefers Batman Returns.
I do.
I love Batman Returns. The scene that gets me in that movie with the
too.
penguin is where he goes, "It could be worse. My nose could be gushing blood," and he just bites
Yeah.
that guy's nose. I was like, ah.
Yes. See, I do like Batman Returns.
I think just Penguin in general is a fucking scary
Yeah.
dude. He's
Yeah,
just
he is.
the look and everything is creepy.
He really
Yeah,
is.
I love that penguin. That version.
I had to run and go get my.
Love it.
I had to get my penguin.
That's awesome.
He's so grotesque in that.
He's such a scary guy.
That's some Osmond Cobblepot
Show you
right
my
there.
flipper trick. He's so gross.
Yeah.
For sure. So number 2. Oh yeah, that was
my number 2.
Okay, yeah, you started that. So Ken, you want to give us your number 2?
Yeah, my number 2, like I said, my last 2 are pretty basic. They've been with me since I was a kid. So the first one I'm going to bring up is Jurassic Park. But it's not the T-Rex coming out of the gate. I know that's probably the one that a lot of people would be scared of. It's the Dilophosaurus scene with Wayne Knights, the Newman from Seinfeld, but Nedry, when the Dilophosaurus spits the black goo in his face and paralyzes him, and then he attacks him. For some reason, when I saw this movie in the theaters as a kid, I was 7 years old. I could not watch this scene. I had to turn around in my seat. I was terrified. And that scene is just, it's always gotten me. And always, when I watch it now, I'm not really that scared of it, but always just something just kind of clicks in the back of my brain when I watch it. I'm like, this is scary.
It's so
this is definitely the scariest part of this movie.
Yeah. That was my little brother's favorite movie. I think we watched that probably 1,000 times when we were kids. He loved that movie. Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. But I mean, the T-Rex scene also is
that's
one of the greatest scenes in any movie ever.
once everything kicks in and it starts raining and starts getting real, the whole movie is filled with just dread and suspense, like all the way through. There's so many good sequences in the back end of that movie. It's just it's amazing.
I've been having a real craving to rewatch it recently because I haven't seen it in a while, but I don't have the 4K of it, and I want to buy the 4K. I still have the Blu-ray copy.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, guys. I had to go grab a water.
No worries, bro.
Now he ran.
I'm on medication and my throat gets all dry. Did Justin give his number 2?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. My 2 is Temple of Doom, the ritual scene where he pulls the heart out.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's my number 2. I couldn't leave that one out. I knew I had to. There was 2 moments. You had the Raiders of the Lost Ark moment, and then you have the Temple of Doom moment. And the Temple of Doom, that's just such a creepy scene. Yeah, it really, really is. And really, I think, is that movie PG or PG-13? I can't remember.
Think it's PG-13.
Is it? Yeah. What a crazy sequence, man. Really wild.
Yeah. I'm actually looking it up right now to make sure I'm not.
I don't know if the PG-13 was a thing back when Temple of Doom was made.
Yep,
because that was in '84. Yeah,
PG.
I think PG-13 came in like the late '80s, maybe.
Yeah.
So I think it was still PG.
There was a couple movies that started pushing that where they needed to find a rating that was in between. I think Gremlins was one of those, Gremlins 2 or something.
I mean, you think about Jaws, it like murders a child and the blood comes up. You see everything in that movie is rated PG.
Right. Yeah, it's wild what they were able to get away with back then.
Yeah. Completely agreed.
Temple of Doom, baby.
Gotta love it.
I love Temple of Doom.
So we have done everybody. Oh, we have not done my number 2. My number 2, we've already been talking about it before, and I knew everybody was going to bring it up, but I don't care. It's still at number 2 for me. When I killed your brother, I looked like this. Roger Rabbit got me so hard as a kid. Another thing that we got to remember, that was a twist. Nobody knew that he was a tune the whole time.
Right.
So you had that twist element on top of it. You totally did not see that moment coming, and then it happens, and it's just such a scary moment. In a movie that was full of levity. And somebody else already brought it up, before when he puts the shoe in the dip, so you realize how scary that dip is. You think this guy's just out to get tuned. You don't know that he is one. So absolutely agree. I think that Roger Rabbit had to go on my list, and it had to go pretty high because it really made a huge impact on me. So before we go into everybody's number 1, I want to catch up on the chat real quick. Brad Dorff is perfect. I agree. Maya is 3 years younger than him.
Oh.
Yeah, you called her an older sister.
Sorry. Older sisters are mean.
7 when John Doe is in the car with Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman. Yeah, see, but again, I consider 7 a horror movie. That's why I didn't put it on my list. That movie's always been complete horror to me.
Yeah.
How about the scene in Eyes Wide Shut when Tom is at the weird orgy and everyone there confronts him and that music is playing? I've never seen Eyes Wide Shut, I don't think.
Oh, man. Stanley Kubrick's last movie. It's great.
I'm going to have to check that one out, too.
I almost put a couple scenes from that movie on there before on my list.
Justin, I mean this as a compliment, but you reminded me of a healthier version of Bam Margera. That's awesome.
A healthier version. I don't know about that.
Maya says, I feel like there's a super niche movie. Typed this before the stream started. I've learned I'm incorrect, but basically all of Ernest Scared Stupid. Yes. Yeah. Jurassic Park is my all-time number 1. Probably always will be. Again, another movie I consider a horror movie.
I was going to say that you consider.
Yeah, I've always considered Jurassic Park a horror movie. So, but again, horror is the hardest genre to lock down.
Yeah.
You can't say, well, to be a horror movie, it has to be scary. We just showed you there's plenty of movies that aren't horror that have scary scenes in them. You can't say, well, it has to have death. Fucking Bambi has death in it. So horror is the hardest thing to lock down. But to me, personally, I'm not a fucking horror Nazi. If you consider something horror or you don't, good for you.
Well, it could be something that's either like visually striking and terrifying or just like something real, like something from 1917, So
yeah, horror is completely subjective. I hate the people who are like, oh, you haven't seen this, you're not a horror fan. That type of shit really bums me out, man. Horror is what you make it. The scariest movie I've ever seen is The Truman Show. That movie really ruined my life for a while. So horror is what you make it. If you think it's
the only movie that actually bothers me when somebody says it's not a horror movie is Silence of the Lambs, because that movie is absolutely a horror movie.
Yeah.
The last 15
Hannibal
minutes
Lecter
are so damn terrifying.
Hannibal Lecter is a horror icon.
Yes.
So yeah.
I don't see the Bam Margera-ism. I can see it. Just a better looking one. They created PG-13 for Temple of Doom. Learned that from Fish Jelly.
I
Jelly
knew there was
there
some
you go.
kind of connection there.
amazing. God, I love them. I love Fish Jelly. They're such great guys. E.T. laying at the lake half dead will definitely horror as a kid. What's up, everyone? What's
Yo,
up?
Garrett, what's up, dude?
What's up?
I guess I mean it was why it happened afterwards. What? Oh, okay. She's saying that PG-13 came after Temple of Doom. Okay. Yeah, Bambi when the mom dies, and the same with Littlefoot's mom dying Land Before Time got me as a kid. Of course it did.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, Ken and Justin, in case you're wondering, I've been doing an excellent job watching a new horror movie every day. Yes. Maya's birthday's on the 19th, same as my sister. I will not forget that, I promise. And she watched House for me. So I got to give some love to that.
Nice. Shout out.
Ken, I just had someone comment on one of my Instagram posts saying Silence of the Lambs isn't horror. See, again, who are you? Like, who the hell do you think you are to comment
Blocked
on
and
something?
reported.
I get
People are
immediately
entitled.
pissed off when somebody says that. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
It's
Did
irrational.
you guys
I know,
see
but I
like
get
that
upset.
guy that was like, "You're not a real horror fan," and it was playing Insidious? He was like, "You're watching The Conjuring," calling it a horror. Did you guys see that whole thing?
I heard that was something was going. I actually saw that on maybe it was your guys' stream with Cody Leach or something.
Yeah,
I saw you guys talking about that.
I was
Yeah,
so
I hadn't
pissed.
seen
He was
it.
I
"You're
haven't seen it. Was it a
fucking
viral
man."
Twitter thing or something?
Yeah, like
And he got the fucking movie wrong.
yeah, he got the movie wrong. Like it's just, it really bums me out when people act holier.
He
than
sounds
thou.
like he's just a troll.
Yeah.
Well, because as we all know, the horror community is so tight knit, and we just want each other to succeed. We all root for each other. We all talk every day. So to see someone be that shitty about horror really, really did bum me out, man.
Video Creep did a great video talking about all of the different types of horror
did.
fans. Did you see that video?
Yes.
That was hilarious. That was hilarious.
Serial killer movies generally toe the horror line. There's a movie called Untraceable with Diane Lane that is never considered horror, but has always Saw level type deaths with less gore. Okay, real quick, guys. Aladdin or Lion King? Are we talking? Hold on. Are we talking before we answer this? The animated ones or the newer ones? I got to know that before I.
Oh,
answer
they
the
got to
question.
be animated, right?
Yeah, if we're
Well,
talking-
if we're
talking
going
animated,
both of them,
Lion
I'll say Aladdin.
Aladdin.
Both of them,
Aladdin
I'll
all
say
the way.
Aladdin.
See, if we're talking animated, Lion King. If we're talking the live action ones, Lion King.
So why is it
Oh
that?
no. Aladdin was way better than the live action.
Yeah,
version.
it's-
Oh
I
my
agree.
God.
I agree.
I couldn't
I haven't
stand
even
it.
seen the live action.
Yeah,
one.
you didn't even see it. It was me and Chloe that.
You got to
watched
see it. Will Smith is a great genie. He's not
Yeah.
Robin Williams, but I think he's a great genie.
Yeah, he was good.
I would have loved to see Jack Black in that role. I wish it
Yeah.
could have been Jack Black.
He would have nailed it. He would have nailed it.
Hey, Maya says, I definitely watched House. It's been my favorite movie I've watched so far. Thank you. For those of you that don't know, my first horror movie, my favorite horror movie, House from 1986, Roger Cobb. Love it. Hey, My Killer Podcast, how are you? Awesome, because they're here. I saw that.
She's got a great channel too. Mel at My Killer Podcast. She's got a big physical media collector. Great channel. As is Born to Be Rad. Garrett at Born to Be Rad. Two great channels.
It's awesome.
And
I
Anna.
love-
And Anna's got a great channel. We need a new video from you. What a Ghoul Wants.
We do desperately. I saw that. It was a TikTok. He said, don't watch Green Inferno. Real horror fans should watch Cannibal Holocaust instead. Joke.
I'd rather watch Green Inferno, to be honest with you.
Me too. I haven't seen Aladdin or The Lion King. Get on that.
Originals or remakes?
The
Yeah, I was
animated
gonna say
ones.
The original. You never seen the original?
They started calling Silence of the Lambs a thriller in order for it to be okay to win an Oscar. You know what? I have heard that, and that pisses me off because
It's probably the only horror movie to ever win an Oscar, is it? I'm sure I'm
Yeah.
missing one.
It
but
is.
It just shows
I think
how
it is.
the fucking Academy poo-poos at horror, and it's not. I hate it, man.
At least
Exorcist was
Best
nominated.
Picture, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Exorcist was nominated, and I think Get Out was nominated too. But
Mhm.
I think Silence of the Lambs the only one to win.
And it definitely should have.
Mhm.
So everybody's done their number 2 now. So we are up to number 1. Ken, we're going to start with you. Now, what we're going to do is you're going to recap your honorable mentions all the way down to number 1 to give the full list for
Okay.
those that joined late. But before you do, I do want to go back through real quick. Danny says, I've had House on my list for a while. I need to check it out. Please do, Danny. Follow me on Instagram or Twitter. Message me. Let me know what you think of it. I always respond back. I would love to get your opinion because I love that movie so much. If someone says Silence of the Lambs ain't horror, they don't know horror. I agree. I mean, I don't see how it could not be considered a horror movie. Hey, J Dev, I'm so glad you're here. I missed you, buddy. I'm glad you could stop by for a little bit. Seems like The Shining would win, but I guess it didn't. The Academy poo-poos
No.
at horror. I mean, if the fact that Hereditary. Won any awards? Doesn't say anything. Like
I don't feel like The Shining was very well regarded or very popular when it first came out.
No, it wasn't. It's just like Hocus Pocus. Everybody hated it when it came out, then it gained a cult following.
It definitely has a cult following now.
So, Ken, do you want to give us your honorable mentions all the way up to number 1, my friend?
Yeah, my 2 honorable mentions were Ghostbusters 2, the bathtub blob sequence, and Beetlejuice, the Lost Souls room. And my number 10 was Annihilation, the bear attack sequence. My number 9 was Spider-Man Far From Home, the zombie Tony Stark Iron Man. My number 8 was Enemy with the spider sequence at the end. My number 7 was 1917 with the rat and the trip mine. My number 6 was There Will Be Blood with the bowling alley scene at the end. Number 5 was E.T. with E.T. in the cornfield. And number 4 was Twister with the opening of Twister. And number 3 was No Country for Old Men, the coin flip sequence. And number 2 is Jurassic Park, the Dilophosaurus paralysis attack sequence.
And your number 1, my friend?
My number 1 is one that's already been mentioned, I think, by all of you, or at least 2 of you, and that is Judge Doom from Who Framed Roger Rabbit at the end.
That's the hit of the night, huh?
That is the scene for me. Like I knew it was going to be basic, and I knew that everybody else was going to have it on the list, but I could not take this off. It's the sequence that terrified me the most when I was a kid watching the movie, and it's one of the reasons why I love this movie so much. And he's just such a great villain, and just that whole scene when he's getting up and he's flat, walking around, just the I don't know what kind, were those like stop motion effects that they used or something? But then like him blowing himself up and just like the eyeballs coming out and he reveals himself to be a tune. It's such a great reveal and it's such a great scene. So that has to be my number 1.
Mm-hmm.
That's so rad that everybody included that scene.
Yeah, I could not take it off.
Real quick before we go on, Hereditary was too out there for the Academy, but Toni Collette was amazing. Toni Collette's dinner table scene is the best acting I've ever seen.
She should have won the Oscar that year for sure.
Yeah,
at least been nominated.
Ken from MidLevelMedia, Don't Sleep on the Hand That Rocks the Cradle.
No, I need to see that, man.
That's a deep cut right there.
I'm gonna throw this out there. The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, Flowers in the Attic, total horror movies.
Oh yeah.
Total fucking horror movies. I will run that till the day I die. Maya says my number 1 any fucking day, The Witch's Face Peel. That shit is a core memory. See, we didn't include The Witches because I thought it was
I almost included that. Is that considered a horror movie? I guess a lot of people do.
Consider it a horror movie all the way.
So, yeah.
I would.
When they turn the kids into mice, like that's totally a horror flick, man. Totally.
It's pretty freaky.
Yeah.
Justin, you want to recap us up and go all the way to your number 1?
Yeah, let's do it. All right, so I had 3 runner-ups. I had the Bilbo Baggins scene from Lord of the Rings. I had Raiders of the Lost Ark, the face melting scene, and finally for the last runner-up, Fire in the Sky, the alien abduction scene. We all know that's terrifying. Taking it from 10, 10 was Large Marge, Pee-wee's Big Adventure. 9 was Pleasure Island, the Pinocchio donkey scene. Shit was fucking weird as hell. Number 8, Running Scared, the that scene. Number 7, Little Monsters, the boy scene, the boy reveal. Number 6, Return to Oz, the Wheelers. I know a couple of us had that in there. Number 5, Revenant, the bear attack scene. Gives me this. I'm shivering just thinking about that one. Number 4, Judge Doom, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Number 3, Willy Wonka, the tunnel scene. Number 2, Temple of Doom, the heart rip action scene. And my number 1, which I thought I might had seen this on a couple of the other lists. I didn't see anybody else mention this one. Requiem for a Dream, the whole nightmare ending sequence where everybody has reached the peak of their addictions. Dude's getting his arm lopped off. We have Jennifer Connelly having her unfortunate little situation there. And the mom, she was almost the most tragic one out of all of them. With all of her uppers and she's in her dress. It's just what a nightmare sequence. That was the most terrifying sequence for me in a non-horror film. Requiem for a Dream, that whole finale sequence.
What a good one.
I still have to watch that movie.
It's
very depressing. You got to be really be in the right mindset.
Last year, and I still have not watched it.
All of what's his name's movies, Aronofsky's, are just like just taxing to watch.
Yes, you're depressed the whole time watching it, hoping for.
I
good.
really liked Mother a lot.
I loved
there's-
Mother too. I
there's
thought
some
it was
definite horror
genius.
scenes in that movie.
Flowers in the Attic, creepy as fuck. Completely agree.
It's weird.
Hey, Daniel, thank you. We appreciate you so much. I don't get why No Country for Old
I'm gonna be
Men
right back.
has such a deep impact on me. Can each of you name a film that has impacted you and you can't figure out why? I'll start this because I've already talked about it, but The Truman Show. That movie really fucked with me, you guys. Like, I know it sounds so silly and so goofy now, but it really, really messed with me. It messed with me to the point to where I had to go get professional help to get myself better. So The Truman Show I can't watch that movie. It really, really messes with me, and it got into my brain, and I thought that everybody around me was an actor and they were planted here, and like it really fucked me up. Like it really did. So The Truman Show is the one that I'm going to have to go with. That really, really messed me up in a really bad way for a really long time. So rather than go back down that rabbit hole, I refuse to watch that movie at all. So can you think of a movie that really affected you? I know one that really affected you.
I'm trying to think of what the name is. I can't. Where they shoot that boy.
Alpha Dog.
Alpha Dog. That made me depressed for like days. Like I like felt so down after watching that movie. Like I bawled my eyes out. That really affected me for sure.
Yeah. Just knowing it was based on a true story too. I knew you were going to say Alpha Dog because we were fucked up at my house watching that. But what about
the way that scene shot is very awkward and strange. It's like they show him like kind of bleeding out, but I don't know, the way it's edited is weird. I watched it again this year.
Yeah.
Did I miss your number one?
No.
Oh, okay.
We're answering the question of can you name a movie film that has impacted you and you can't figure out why?
Yeah, I was trying to figure out if I can think of one that I mean, there's plenty of movies that impacted me, but I don't know if there's one that I can think of that I can't figure out why it impacted me. Yeah, that's a tough one.
That's a good question. I like that question.
Stand By Me always gets me at the end when he talks about River Phoenix's character.
Yeah.
Just knowing.
That's a real gut punch.
Yeah. That and like you said, just knowing what happens to River Phoenix in real life, you know, like that's awful.
Gets me every time.
Awful. One of the first bands I was ever in was called River's Diary, named after River Phoenix. So.
Oh wow, that's cool, dude.
Yeah, that's one of the ones that. Always a big River Phoenix fan. Whether he was in Stand By Me or Young Indiana Jones, River Phoenix was a star that burned out way too bright. I'm such a fucking film nerd that when I was 3, my favorite film was Coraline because I thought it looked pretty and had a good story when everyone else my age and older thought it was traumatizing. I love Coraline. I think it's a very beautifully animated
I do
film.
too.
It's creepy. There's creepy elements to that.
Tim Talk says that's an incredibly rough movie. By this time, I don't know which one we're talking about, but Requiem for a Dream. Yeah. Pinocchio.
Everybody always says that. That's why I'm so reluctant to watch it.
It's rough, man, but it's so good. It's just such a well-made movie.
Yeah. The first Toy Story with all the Sid's toys. Loved Requiem. Requiem for a Dream should be required viewing in anyone high school that has a dare program.
Yeah.
Pinocchio's Revenge. If you know, then you know. I'm assuming that it's Rumpelstiltskin. Pinocchio's Revenge and Rumpelstiltskin is where it's at. Loved Mother, that Dr. Sleep. Oh, okay. I thought you were saying Dr. Sleep wasn't a horror movie, and I was freaking out. Yes, that and Dr. Sleep are my favorite horror movies for the last 15 years. Love Rumpelstiltskin.
Sleep's great.
It's amazing. The Boy in the Striped Pajamas really got me. It shows the horrors of what people could do to each other. Oh my gosh. The ending of that movie was so rough, man. So rough. 2 Evil Eyes for me, says J-Dev. Edward Scissorhands made me cry a few years back. I was not sure why the first time watching it in years and just hit me right. That happens. Sometimes
it's a tragic movie.
Yeah, it really is. If we're talking about the saddest thing we've ever seen, I got to go with Sophie's Choice. Like a scene that fucked you up. Have you guys seen Sophie's Choice?
I'm familiar with it.
I have not seen it. No.
Meryl Streep.
Oh, yes. Meryl Streep. And
I think I have it back there somewhere. But
the Nazis make her choose which kid she's going to give away. And it's just, oh my gosh, it's such a heartbreaking scene. Like, and it's Meryl Streep, so you know the acting is flawless.
Yeah.
Can't think of a movie, but an episode of Rhett and Links of Good Mythical Morning fame podcast made me cry for so long. Shot caller, don't end up in prison. So we are up to Justin, right? No, you did.
I
your
did
number
mine.
one.
He
Yep.
gave his.
So we're at mine now. All right.
Drum roll, please.
We know. We already know what it is.
Everybody knows my number one, but I'm still doing it anyway. Honorable mentions: Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Rings, Bilbo's jump scare, Ghostbusters 2, Janosch grabbing the baby out on the balcony, Return to Oz, The Wheelers was number 10, Indiana Jones, The Ark opening, and Raiders of the Lost Ark is number 9. Number 8, Never Ending Story, Artex drowning the horse, saddest story ever. 7, Terminator 2, the T-1000 with the finger. Number 6, Batman, the Joker laying dead on the concrete. Number 5, Wizard of Oz, the monkeys. Number 4, Willy Wonka, the Tunnel of Terror. Number 3, Casino, Nicky and Dom getting beat in the cornfield. Number 2, Roger Rabbit. Number 1, not my favorite movie, but the most perfect movie ever made. Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Large Marge, man.
Large Marge is your number one. I love it.
That is my number one. And like I said, this to me is the most perfect movie. Like, again, not my favorite movie, but it is the most perfectly put together movie. It doesn't miss a beat. Such an amazing film.
It's the first movie by Tim Burton. He was like early 20s when he directed that movie.
Yeah.
It's
people forget
wild.
it's a Tim Burton film, man. But
Yeah,
you want to talk,
which is
there's
weird 'cause you don't like a lot of Tim Burton things.
like for me, Tim Burton is so hit or miss. Either I'll love something he does, or I'll completely hate what he does.
Mhm.
But there's a lot of scenes from Pee-wee's Big Adventure, like the snake scene. Always got me. The buildings on fire. The doctors when they're doing the thing on his bike
With the creepy clowns and shit.
Yeah.
Yes, but Large Marge, man, like I'm telling you, like I remember vividly being a little kid and I was so into this movie, like I was so close to the TV, and the Large Marge thing happened, and I like literally let out like a howl, like
The worst accident I ever seen.
yes, man. Like
It's
the way
so
Pee-wee was
good.
all up against the window, she's like, and when they pulled the body from the like and Pee-wee's already all scared, and then it does that, like such an amazing scene. And
Oh, and it leads into that great moment in the bar where he goes in and he tells them who sent him, and they're like, "What?" You can see the picture of her on the wall and stuff.
Yeah.
It's so good, man.
It is, man. Like I said, to me, Pee-wee's Big Adventure is probably one of the only 5-star movies I would ever rank.
It's a really tight script. The shooting script for that movie is just so tight. It just moves.
Yeah,
it's really good.
So before we do your list, I want to catch up on the comments real quick.
Okay.
So where do we leave off? Okay, there we go. The Irishman Rob killing Pacino is very fucked up for me. The Irishman, we just watched that. With De Niro, Pacino. Yeah, really good movie.
I love that movie.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. Jackass has become one of my hyper fixations and honestly a big influence on my life. I love Jackass. Always, I can't wait for the new one. Saddest scene, Brooks' suicide, Shawshank Redemption. I mean, if we're talking about like the saddest scene, I gotta go with, like I said earlier, Sophie's Choice.
Yeah.
That one fucked me up the most. Pee-wee's Big Adventure has one of the best openings ever with that breakfast setup. That blew my mind as a kid. It still blows my mind. It does all that. Then he takes a bite of the bacon and then eats the cereal.
Yeah, he doesn't eat barely shit of the breakfast that he spent all that time making.
That's
he
what
makes
my
it.
kids would do.
He makes it into a face. And you want some Mr. T cereal? It's so good, man.
So damn good.
Love Simon also helped me start questioning my sexuality, which eventually led to me coming out as a lesbian. The happiest I've ever been. We're very happy for you too, Maya. And it's good that something like that can make you realize who you are as a human being. The Shawshank scene is so
That's
real.
awesome.
Being institutionalized to the point of being afraid of the outside world is real. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, that scene's messed up.
Yeah. He did Batman Returns and Mars Attacks, so he's always got my support. Look, Tim Burton, like I said, either I love it or I hate it. Because, like, that's just mostly his animated stuff. Like, I'm one of the only people in the world that absolutely hates A Nightmare Before Christmas.
He doesn't like
Are you saying that you hate Mars Attacks?
No.
No, you're saying. Oh, okay.
No, but, like, Nightmare Before Christmas is not my bag, man.
Well, he didn't direct that one.
No, he didn't direct Nightmare Before Christmas?
It was Henry
produced it.
Selick, I think's his name. I could be saying it wrong, but he also did Coraline.
Yeah.
But he produced it. Yeah, it is basically from his mind.
Miseducation of Cameron Post. Fantastic movie about coming to the realization of sexuality and the fucked up aspects of camps that try to fix people. Yeah, that I don't like any of that shit, man. That shit makes me so uncomfortable, man. My daughter is 9 years old and she's already convinced she's a lesbian. I tell her all the time, you know what? You are who you are, but right now we're not focused on that type of stuff. Right now we're focused on being a 9-year-old little girl, and that's all I want you to focus on. So if she is. If she's not, she's not. She's my daughter. I love her. I support her no matter what she is. Who you are is who you are. Anybody that tries to stop you from being who you are is a piece of shit. Be who you are. You have maybe 100 years on this earth. If you spend that being someone else that you're not and being miserable, that's one of the saddest things I could ever think of. Be who you are. Love who you want, because you don't have that much fucking time. So,
amen, brother.
You hate
All
that.
I'll say is I know for a fact I don't have 100 years on this earth.
If we're lucky, that's what we get. So, man, there's no point in being someone you're not and being miserable. Love who you love. Tell the people you love them, because you never know when the light's going to go off. You hate Nightmare Before Christmas. I never heard this slander. I know. I'm sorry. It's like Starbucks. I want to like it, but every time I taste it, it tastes like shit.
So you don't just not like it. You have a active hatred for it.
Yes. It really, I don't like it at all.
It's like that movie and Hocus Pocus. You can't hate those movies. People will come out against you.
Right.
I'm sorry. I love you all, but
I'm like that with Marvel movies.
okay,
So
how about this? I'll give a compliment to Nightmare Before Christmas. The score is
say
awesome.
one nice thing about Nightmare.
The score is great.
I love it.
Great. It is great.
Do you want to give your list? I want to know what your number one is, because have somebody said your number one yet?
No.
Okay.
No.
I like it.
Okay.
Original.
So number 10 for me is The Wizard of Oz, The Wicked Witch. Number 9 was the Willy Wonka, The Tunnel of Terror. Number 8 was Labyrinth, Helping Hands. Number 7 was Harry and the Hendersons, Bigfoot Jump Scare. 6 was E.T. when he's sick and wailing. 5 is Beauty and the Beast, The West Wing. 4 was Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Doom's Reveal. 3 was The Hunchback of Notre Dame, the beginning scene. 2 was Batman Returns, Penguin's Death. And then 1 is actually from the Goonies.
Oh!
Yeah, so when Chunk is like...
Truffle Shuffle.
Huh?
I said the Truffle Shuffle.
Yes. So when he's trying to escape and he's running out of the woods and he stops the car and he's like trying to explain to them about the Fratellis and how awful they are, and then the light turns on.
And it is the Fratellis?
Yeah, that scared the shit out of me when I was his face is in the driver's side mirror. Like that gave me
it's like
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Damn, I can't believe I didn't have any Goonies on this. I love that movie.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, that one scared me. So that was my number 1.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Those people are scary anyway.
Good number 1.
Caught up on the chat real quick before we do one more thing. Never seen Hocus Pocus. You got to see the film. It's Ashley's favorite film. We, like I said at the top of the chat, we just took a 12-hour trip out to Rhode Island to see the set of Hocus Pocus 2, and we are so excited for it. So definitely got to check that out. Thanks, Ken. You are doing all the right things. I wish the world gave me that opportunity at that age. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for me, and I was corrupted pretty early. Doesn't matter when you find yourself. All that matters is you did, Maya. Right. Stay who you are. I say that at the end of every My First Horror movie. That's my thing. You know what I mean? Like, stay what you are. It's what you got to do. Be who you are. It's a saves the day quote, but it's totally meaningful in my life. Keep talking horror. Stay what you are all the time. I'm so happy I joined the stream. It was a great time. You all have a new loyal viewer. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Hopefully we have you back on Saturday. I'm going to plug this real quick. On Saturday, we will be joined by my good friends, The Horror Show, and we will be doing our top 10 most overrated horror movies of all time. And I want to clarify this before we get there. I think the Beatles is the most overrated band of all time. Okay. I love the Beatles. What did you walk down the aisle to at our wedding?
Here Comes the Sun.
Here Comes the Sun by the Beatles.
Oh, that's such a good tune.
Yeah. So, I mean, I love the Beatles, but I still think they're the most overrated band of all time. Just because you say something's overrated doesn't mean it's bad. So before you watch our episode, please keep that in mind. And thank you for joining the chat. Thank you for your super chat. It means the world to both of us. I promise you, I can't even explain it.
Absolutely.
Danielle, I love Nightmare Before Christmas as a child. It kind of wore off. I like adult Danielle better. You remember me, Eddie? Shit was crazy for us kid. Yep, that's Roger Rabbit. I'm shocked no one mentioned The Empire Strikes Back. One of the most bone-chilling reveals. Easily my number one. I can see that.
If I was gonna go Empire, I'd go the Yeti at the beginning of it.
Yeah.
Hoth.
The thumbs up and T2. If we're talking about saddest scenes, always. Max likes your yabos. That's our daughter and our son.
It totally is.
100%. That's Chloe and Kenny right there. We say that every time we watch that movie. Name your dream actor to direct. For me, as funny as it sounds, I would love to direct a Nightmare on Elm Street remake with Devon Sawa as Freddy Krueger.
I heard you mention that the other night. It's an interesting choice. Yeah. I think you could do it.
I do too. I think Devon Sawa could kill it as Freddy.
I'm on the Kevin Bacon. I'm on the Kevin Bacon train for that.
Kevin Bacon would kill it.
I think that would be a good one too. Yeah. Who would you like to direct, babe?
Oh God, I don't know. There's so many.
She's like, I'd like to direct Ryan Gosling.
I mean, I could say about like a kiss.
It's all right. I'm not heartbroken.
I'm just kidding.
What about you guys? Who's your dream actor to direct?
Go ahead, Ken.
I don't know. I like Jake. I don't know if I'd ever want to direct anything, to be honest. But
were you about ready to say Gyllenhaal?
I love Jake Gyllenhaal. So
that's who I was going to think.
I'll direct Jake Gyllenhaal in anything.
He's so good, man.
I love him. He's my favorite actor. Him and Ryan Gosling. I love both of them.
Yeah.
Tom Hanks. I'd like to direct Tom Hanks too.
Yeah.
Tom Hanks. I think Tom Hanks would direct me if I tried.
Yeah, he probably would.
Here's how we're gonna do this, son. I'm down, Maya. Hit me up. You know where to reach me. I hear Kevin Bacon would like to play Freddy. I would love to see that too. I think that'd be great. As a kid, I always thought the guy from the Drew Carey show could play a good Freddy Krueger.
The tall, lanky guy. That's funny.
Kevin Beck. Yes, I would love. Look, I love Kevin Bacon. I love Tremors. I'd love to see that Kevin Bacon.
I mean, he did a 30-minute special feature interview for that Tremors box set, the Arrow set that came out last year, the 4K set. So, I mean, I think he'd be game to come back and do another one. If they actually put a cool budget behind it, a good budget.
I'm not laughing at you guys. I'm laughing at this. Never been disturbed by something that was a given, but when we witnessed the son seeing his old lady caretaker's wiener, which was really his dad's, poor kid, PTSD, Mrs. Doubtfire.
Okay.
He's a she. She's a he.
He's a she.
Bruce Campbell. That guy would be amazing to direct. He would be a blast on set. All right, Maya, have a great night.
Yeah.
So we have all done our top 10. Now, for the last little bit here, I'd like to open the chat. You guys have been amazing so far. And part of the reason we do this is to hang out with our friends. I get to get my friends on here and I get to hang out with them for a couple hours. But another huge reason we do this is for you guys in the chat. We'd love to have you along. We'd love to listen with you. We'd love to interact with you. If you have any questions for any of us, we would love to answer them right now. While we're waiting, guys, do you have anything exciting coming up on the channels you can talk about?
I'm covering the Chucky series. That's the only thing that I'm doing consistently. I'm covering those episodes. I shot 2 reviews that I need to actually get out. One for a crazy movie called The Farm, which is on Tubi, which I can't wait to talk about. And then Censor, which is another amazing movie that's on Hulu. So I got those reviews coming out. And I'm just going to keep on banging out the collectibles, toys, reviews, and Chucky reviews and all that shit.
Awesome.
There you go. What about you, Ken?
Yeah, tomorrow you can find me out in Walmart and Target. I'll be doing a Blu-ray hunting video, and then I'm going through my Underworld collection, so I'm watching all 5 of these movies. I'm trying to binge through them this week, and I'm hoping to get a review out on the channel this week. But yeah,
that's a cool set.
Yeah, it's a really cool set. But I've never seen any of the Underworld films beyond the first one. I watched the first one last night. I enjoyed it. I'm on the second one. I'm enjoying it, but I'm just hoping it doesn't go downhill for me.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I haven't seen any of those movies, and I want to pick up that set. That's a really cool. It's a chunky set.
Yeah, it's a really nice box set. They all got slip covers inside and everything. But yeah, that's pretty much all I'm doing this week.
Cool.
We got Saturday. We have our live with the horror show. Like I said, coming up on My First Horror Movie, we have episodes with Carmela McNeil, who played Vanessa, the sexy nurse in Halloween Kills. And today I just filmed an episode with Nick Marini. You may know him as Twig from Cobra Kai. I He's an amazing guy too. So we got those coming up. And like I said, Jordan from Hocus Pocus. We got our episode coming up soon. So we got a lot of cool stuff coming up on My First Horror Movie. And probably dropping next week, we'll be doing our first episode of Original or Remake, where we talk about the differences and similarities between the originals and the remakes of certain films. And as voted by our loyal YouTube fans, I hate saying fans, that's so weird, by our YouTube viewers, you guys that are out there watching us, it will be the first one that we do. So,
which I'm excited. I wanted that one to win.
Yes, you did. So we'll be doing what we like better about the made-for-TV miniseries, what we like better about the films, and overall which one we like the best. So stay tuned for that. Let's catch up on the chat real quick. It says Kevin Bacon also did a pilot episode for the new Tremor show back in 2018. That looked really good, but it was passed on. That's bullshit. That was passed on. That would.
Yeah, I didn't even know there was a Tremor show.
That would have been so dope. Thanks again, Boss Show is always Litton. Thank you. You're always here, and we appreciate you so much. Chucky for life. Got to agree. He's in every chat. He's always back here
watching.
Where'd he go? I don't see him anymore. No, never mind. I see him now.
Oh, my head's in the way.
That'd be fucked up if he was gone.
All of a sudden, your screen goes black.
Man reboot? No, you're not. We would love to see a Darkman reboot. Hillbilly Hunter Unleashed.
Yeah.
Any fan of Leprechaun?
The first one, for sure, off the top of my head.
See, I actually the one where he's out in Vegas is probably was that 3?
I remember that one, but it's been so long since I've seen any of the other ones that I don't feel like I can adequately.
The lady when her boobs explode, as a kid.
I remember all that, seeing that when I was like 10 or 11. I do
the recent remake was actually pretty decent, I thought.
Which was the one where Hornswoggle from WWE played the Leprechaun?
Oh,
was that the recent one? Was that Origins?
Yeah,
I enjoyed it. Was there 2? Oh, there was like 2 new movies, wasn't there?
It's like Origins and Returns.
I wasn't a huge Leprechaun fan. I did, there were scenes in the first one. Like I liked the pogo stick thing, and obviously Frances from Pee-wee's Big Adventure with the.
I just thought that Jennifer Aniston a debut. I thought she was great in the first Leprechaun movie. I think she's really
pretty good.
Underrated as like a final girl.
I want to start this question with you, Ashley. What's your favorite Chucky movie?
My favorite is Bride of Chucky, probably. Right. I love Jennifer Tilly.
What about you, Ken? What's your favorite Chucky movie?
It's part 2, hands down. There's no question for me. That's one of my favorite slasher movies of all time. But I do have a lot of love for the third one, which I have on my shirt right here. I love the third one, and the first 3 really. They're all my favorites.
I don't hate any of them. Well, the Seed I didn't.
Seed is the weakest, but I don't think it's bad.
But I don't hate.
I love the kills in it. Yeah. What about you, Justin? What's your favorite?
I haven't even seen all of the Child's Play movies. I don't know how I can call myself a horror fan. I haven't even seen all the. I've seen the first one. I've seen Bride, and I saw the one where they kind of went back to form in the mansion with the Curse. I think it was Brad Dourif's actual daughter, right? Played the girl in the wheelchair.
Yep.
But I have not seen 2 and 3. And so that's kind of one of my lists. I think the first full franchise review series that I do will probably be Child's Play because I really want to see all those.
Yeah.
2 and 3 are great. I think 3 is severely underrated.
That's what I hear. I hear 3 is a lot of people's favorites.
Yeah, I think 3's got some of the best kills of the whole franchise.
3 is my favorite, hands down.
Does everybody hate the remake? Because I like the remake. I thought it was.
I like the remake.
I thought it was good too.
She loves the remake. I do.
I love the remake.
It's fun.
The remake as her number 1. That's
yeah.
Yeah,
it's a fun movie
too, so I can't hate.
I very much enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think
I just love that Chucky learns violence from Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, it's good.
I know.
I was gonna say, in the remake, you can make the argument that Chucky's not a bad guy. He's doing what he has to do until the third act. Yeah, he's a good guy.
I thought it just ended up being far gorier than I expected it to be. I expected it to be a little bit more neutered and tame, and it wasn't.
They went for it, man.
Yeah, they did. And I loved it. 3 is my favorite Leprechaun movie. I think that's the Vegas one, and I have to agree.
It's a Vegas one.
I have not seen Lamb. Have any of you guys seen Lamb?
I loved it. I reviewed it on my channel.
Yep.
If you're into the A24 stuff, you'll dig it.
Yeah.
I've thought about renting it because I can't find it in my local theaters for $20, and I haven't done it yet. I almost want to wait till I get the Blu-ray copy, and that's what I might end up doing.
It's
That's what we're waiting on
because I'm gonna buy it anyway. I buy every A24 film.
I actually have it on VHS. How about that?
Oh, that's
Is that the videos?
The K video, yeah.
K videos, yeah. I've seen y'all post those and stuff. Those are
Yeah, I
really
just
cool.
posted a Katie video today.
J Dev says we need some Dexter New Blood coverage. Cody Leach has some, and he's
Cody's covering it.
He's doing a great job. Ken, I got Underworld movies recently. Wasn't feeling them, but they came out, so maybe I'm ready to give them a chance just in time for your review. There you go. I always recommend before we do a review. I always recommend people watch the movie and gauge their own opinion on it. Don't base your opinion on our review, please. Please make sure these people put in a lot of hard work and a lot of effort to make these films. Make sure you're supporting them.
Especially before you watch one of my reviews, because I always accidentally spoil the shit out of everything I talk about.
Yeah, that's awesome. Child's Play 2 is my favorite Child's Play, but I also love 3, which I believe gets unfair hate. It really does. It's fantastic.
I don't get it. Is it just because it's a different kid that plays Andy because he's older? I don't get the hate for that movie.
I don't get it either. I think the big thing is this is really where Chucky goes into one-liner territory. You know, like where he really starts doing the one-liners more.
He gets his wits
And it's
out.
this thing where it's like when I was a kid, like I just watched all these movies and enjoyed them all. And it wasn't until I kind of got into like, I guess, the online community and started realizing that people didn't like movies like Jason Goes to Hell or Child's Play 3. And it's like I always loved these movies growing up. So and I can't turn that off just because the internet wants me to. So I'm gonna continue to love them until I die.
Yeah, that's how it should be. That's absolutely how it should be. Favorite cameo in a movie? Mine is the T-1000 in Wayne's World.
That's a great one.
That's a great one. Have you seen this, boy?
Yeah.
I have to think about this one a little bit.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, that's a really tough one. I don't know. You know what? My favorite cameo in a movie, hands down, I know what it is. Freddy's glove at the end of Jason Goes to Hell.
Oh, that's good.
That is my favorite cameo because that blew me away as a kid. When I seen that, I freaked the fuck out, man. When you see that glove come up and grab the mask, that's my favorite cameo in a movie. Do you guys have
a good
one?
one? Man, that's tough. I couldn't even pull one from off the top.
I don't know if you'd call it like a legit cameo because he's in a good portion of the movie, but Tom Cruise and Tropic Thunder is always
that's good.
Is always a good one.
That's really good.
And Chucky, we're in the beginning of is it 2? Where in the locker there's like
in Bride of Chucky when it
Chucky.
has the Texas chainsaw
and
and
it has
the
Michael
Jason
Myers, doesn't it?
the Jason mask, the Michael mask. Yeah, I love that too.
Alice Cooper in Wayne's World's also a good one.
That's
if you
a
want
good
to go off
one.
Wayne's World again.
When you got Alice Cooper in Friday 7, is it 7 or 6?
He does the song for 6, doesn't he?
Yeah. He's the stepdad and is it Alice Cooper? No, I'm thinking Nightmare on Elm Street 6. Freddy's dead when he's his dad.
Oh yeah, you're right. It's Freddy's dead.
Yeah. And then first person I didn't hear bash the new reboot of Leprechaun. I have not seen that yet. I seen the Hornswoggle one and I didn't dig it.
Well, one of them was directed by the guy who did Psycho Gorman.
Yeah.
And he's a really good effects guy, so
Tim says going to head out. Got a physical media report to watch before bed. Great stream. Thank you so much, Tim. We appreciate you. I'm glad you had a great time. I agree. Bride is the best. Antonis, welcome back, Antonis, my friend. See you, Tim. Child's Play 1, no question. Then 3, 4, 2. Wow, you really went all out. I love that. I like the remake a lot. So do we, Danielle. I think it was a great movie. Just revisited the Child's Play remake. Would really like to see more of those with Aubrey Plaza. She is amazing.
I really like the first Child's Play, but it doesn't. It's a little bit slower paced, I think, and you don't really get Chucky in the movie till like you're an hour in, and that's a great scene when he reveals himself. But
you stupid bitch, that's so great, man.
Yeah,
Justin, you need to see Child's Play 2. You definitely should watch the whole series because the Chucky show is full of Easter eggs from the series. It really.
I know. And they're giving the whole backstory and everything. I'm gonna do that. I'll cover that whole series on the channel for sure.
I can't wait to watch.
Yeah, I can't wait to
do
do that.
The movie The Lighthouse. I love The Lighthouse.
Me too.
But I think it's because I'm a huge Robert Pattinson fan. I like everything Robert Pattinson does post Twilight. And look, I'm not bashing Twilight, man. If you were into it, you were into it. It wasn't my thing. Ashley liked it a lot. I didn't. It just wasn't for me. And it wasn't one of those I'm snooty, blah blah blah. I don't know. I just couldn't get into it. I tried. Like the cinematography.
Good Times, probably my favorite with him.
Yeah. And then he had that 9/11 movie, Remember Me. I thought that was good. You know, like everything he's done, I've been a pretty big fan of. So what do you guys think of The Lighthouse?
Lighthouse is brilliant, man. I love it.
I liked it. I think it's a good movie, but I was disappointed watching it because I love The Witch. The Witch is like my favorite horror film of this century, and it wasn't The Witch. It's a different kind of movie, and I was kind of going into it expecting that. So I don't know. I need to watch it again. I need to watch it again.
It's out there.
It's the Willem Dafoe farting movie.
What horror movie that made a reference on a TV show you like? Mine is Gravity Falls, doing a John Carpenter's The Thing episode. I don't know if you guys remember this, but there was a whole episode of WCW Nitro that was hosted by Chucky. And
oh, I do not.
I loved it. Like, I was so amped about it. Listen, as a kid, I was a huge WWF, WCW fan.
That must have been during the David Arquette champion era.
Yeah, it totally was. It was totally when WCW was going off the rails. That's what I'd pick. Do you guys have an answer for that one?
I haven't seen a lot of animated stuff, to be honest with you, like a lot of the references, to be honest with you. I know there was supposed to be in the new, was it the new Rick and Morty? There was supposed to be some Hellraiser references in the latest season of Rick and Morty. I don't know if that's true or not.
There was a Freddy Krueger type character in Tiny Toons that I remember.
That's rad.
So that was a good one.
Freddy Krueger himself, Robert Englund, playing Freddy Krueger on The Goldbergs recently was pretty tight.
I remember watching that clip online, but I've never watched that show.
That's a great show.
That is a good show.
Great show. Brad Dourif has said that 3 is his least favorite and Bride is his favorite. Brad Dourif is wrong.
Well, he's got more to do, I think, in Bride, so that's probably why.
Have you seen this boy? Mr. Al Bundy wasn't bad either. Yeah, in Wayne's World, he was like, you ever see the a soul leave a man's body? Like, it's so great in that movie. Alice Cooper did like 3 songs for Friday 6. When Brad Dourif records his lines for Chucky, does he do it at home or in a studio? He does them in a studio. They just had it behind the scenes on the last episode that showed him in the studio, and he's all great. It was crazy. I am interested in Blumhouse's Killer Doll movie Megan. It sounds a lot like a Child's Play remake. I hope they mean a creepy, more realistic doll like in Dolly Dearest. Is this something that's out already? I haven't heard anything about it.
I haven't heard of that either.
Nope, me either.
Fill us in a little bit. Let us know, because I've never heard of this. Would love to know everyone's favorite superhero movie. Tim Burton's Batman for me. What about you, babe?
I don't know. Come back to me.
What about you guys? Favorite superhero movie?
I'm with you.
Yeah, my heart one has got to say Tim Burton's Batman, but a modern one that I love is Captain America: The Winter Soldier. That's my favorite Marvel movie.
Yeah,
also Spider-Man 2. Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2 is one of my favorites of all time.
If we're going Marvel, I think I got to go Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's what I was gonna say.
I really dig Guardians of the Galaxy. I think it's great.
I really am hoping they do another one.
Yeah, they're supposed to be doing 3.
Yeah.
Chucky called out. Yes, he totally called out Rick Steiner on that WCW Nitro episode.
I would have loved to have seen Chucky in the Steiner recliner.
Yes, man, that's great. Thank you for remembering that. Groundskeeper Willy as Freddy Krueger was cool. Yes. Treehouse of Horror.
Simpsons always did a lot of great Halloween episodes.
Yeah. Well, there you go, guys. There's a whole episode dedicated to the Cenobites and Rick and Morty where they're in hell. Angels to some, demons to others, baby.
That's rad.
Real life serial killer that scares the hell out of... Oh, that scares the you-know-what out of you. I got to go with Gacy because he was a dude. He was a clown. He was loved by the community. He was a hardworking guy. I mean, Pennywise is based off Gacy with how beautiful he was on the outside, but he was such a nasty monster on the inside. So for me, it's got to be Gacy. It's always been like hit home to me, and because it's not that far away, Chicago, it's not too far away from us.
Yeah.
And so I got to go Gacy for that reason of he was just a community guy that nobody knew was this monster doing these horrific things to these boys. So
yeah,
for me, it has to be Gacy. What about you, my love?
I'm gonna say the Golden State Killer, like that
Yeah.
that guy, and he just got caught
Yeah, they just
recently,
recently
and
figured
I
out
was
who it
like
was.
really obsessed about like watching all that stuff
I
and like
remember
how
that.
they found him. Like I was really into that. So
Yeah, they found him through like Ancestry.com.
yeah, they did.
That's so insane.
Isn't it? What about you, Justin? We'll start with you this time.
I
Real life serial killer that scares the shit out of you.
I watch and listen to so much true crime. There's a bunch of obscure ones, but like of the big ones that people would know, definitely like Ted Bundy or Dahmer.
Yeah.
Every time I see like somebody talking about how like good looking of a dude like Ted Bundy is or something like that, it's like, why don't you look into what that dude really did? Because it's way more. He was way more than just a killer. He was ridiculous.
Did you watch that movie with Efron that was on
Yeah.
Netflix last year?
I didn't. Was it
pretty
any good?
but
Yeah,
It
dude,
was
it's really good.
It was good. I thought it went in some.
I watched the documentary.
Yeah,
But-
it was good. It was good.
I live in Kansas City, and we actually had a pretty famous hometown serial killer named Bob Berdella. And he had a little shop at a little thrift store, like a little sort of like where you rent a booth and sell random shit, like a consignment booth, just right down the street. And he killed a lot of people within just a couple square miles of where I lived back in the 80s. So
Yeah, it's scary, man.
Yeah.
Bob the
You always
Butcher.
wonder how many times you like pass
Yeah.
a real life killer, you know? And
Oh yeah.
it's nuts.
What about you, Ken?
I mean, I'm not as up on all the serial killers, but I get the real life ones anyway.
That's
I
okay.
I know the fictional ones, but it's probably Jeffrey Dahmer is that was the first time I ever heard about somebody eating people, I guess, when I was younger, because he was, I think, still at large, or maybe he had just gotten arrested when I was like 5 or 6. So that this the idea of there's somebody being out there that was like that ate other people just
Yeah.
always scared me when I was a child.
Yeah, it was weird to know I wasn't the only one.
Yeah.
Honestly, Deadpool. In the 2012 Ninja Turtles, Robert Englund and the actor who voiced the Crypt Keeper voices their Dream Beavers. I didn't know that.
Huh.
That's awesome. Filming started for Guardians 3 today. There you go, my love.
Really? All right. I'm excited.
Mega went into pre-production right when they announced the CP remake, but since they are both about AI dolls, they put it off and went back into production recently. Okay, cool.
Oh, I think I remember hearing something about that. Yeah.
Jim Jones is another. That was the cult leader, I believe.
Yeah.
The Zodiac Killer, Charles Manson's another one. Ed Gein was an interesting character. BTK, that guy was real deal. Yeah, the Bound Tie and Kill. Yeah, fuck that. Yeah, oh man, yeah. BTK Killer is wild. So everybody, I want to thank you all for coming out and hanging out with us tonight. Please do your due diligence for me. Please subscribe to these guys if you haven't already. They're amazing guys, good friends of mine, and they work their asses off to give you the best possible content they can. Subscribe to us because I'm funny and Ashley's cute. And we hope that you guys join us for more of these. We will have some more episodes of My First Horror Movie. Didn't see that coming. We have a couple episodes of those lined up, and our new original or remake will be coming out as well as some reviews coming up with some very special guests you guys won't want to miss. So thank you guys all again so much for coming out. It means so much to all of us. You guys don't go anywhere. I got a couple more questions for you. Everybody else, thank you for joining us. We hope to see you again on Saturday night at 8 p.m. joining us with the horror show to talk about our least favorite the most overrated horror movies.
Yeah.
So get your list together, your top 10 most overrated horror movies. Come and join us on Saturday night so we can hear your list too. Antonis, thank you guys. Do a Chucky impression. That's for you, babe.
What?
She goes, what?
You
Put
put
me
me
on
on
the
the
spot.
spot. Now I can't do it.
All I can do is Chucky's gonna be a bro.
Yeah.
That's about the best you're gonna get out of me.
You've been very naughty, Mrs. Kettlewell. I
Mister?
can't- Yeah,
Spot on. Spot on.
I sounded good, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
you're amazing.
Hey, I'm funny too, not just
Yes,
cute.
I agree. You got the brains and the looks.
I did a
Okay,
pretty
guys.
mean Chucky laugh the other day, but I don't think I can pull it out of myself right now.
You gonna give us a little Chucky there, Justin?
I got nothing. I'm not going to embarrass myself.
I don't care.
Right. Now, again, I love everybody in the chat. Thank you guys so much for coming out and joining us. It really honestly means the world to all of us. Make sure you're subscribed to them, subscribed here. We'll see you guys on Saturday. As always, keep talking horror, stay what you are, and we'll see you guys soon.
Bye, guys.